like that, we are back with another Unpacked presented to you by the To Be Fair Show and
the G Shit Podcast.
All right, y'all see the title, Dr. Umar in the middle. Is there a snow bunny crisis? Is there a problem with interracial dating, or should we stop meat watching black men? I don't know. This is gonna be an interesting conversation here. So nonetheless, we got about 85% of the panel. Of course, we got old head Rail tapping in with us. But I'm jumping the gun. I need to allow my illustrious panel to introduce themselves. Starting at the top, G, talk to us.
What's good, everybody? It's G, host of the G Shit Podcast, where we focus on family, friends, finances, freedom, and our future, and fuck everything else. Check that out wherever you get your podcast. Just search GSHPOD. Hi.
Beside him, some know him as David Walker, some FBA Trey. Talk to him.
What's good? Been looking forward to this conversation. Another opportunity to intellectually spar with the homies. I'm glad we have Real on the panel today and chime in on the chat. I know y'all gonna be on my neck tonight. I'm ready for it. We're gonna interact.
Oh,
with that.
Damn!
Hit the likes, hit the comments.
Don't sound so defeated, my brother.
No, I'm about to defeated. I'm ready, bro. I'm ready.
Okay. Below him, 1/3 of the To Be Fair Show, Old Head Rail. Talk to us.
Yo, what up? I appreciate y'all, brothers. First off, it's Old Head Real from the To Be Fair Show. I appreciate y'all fellas letting me tap in with y'all, have a fun conversation. I think it'll be great. I appreciate it again. Looking forward.
Yep. Last but not least, host of the To Be Fair Show, Johnny P. What's the word?
What's going on? Want to tell everybody Happy New Year. Glad to be here. Looking forward to more conversations like this for the new year. Yeah, excited. Y'all can catch us, here every Wednesday, 9:30, Sunday, 4:30, Saturday, 8:30. Let's get to it.
Yep. And so I guess a couple icebreakers, but I guess it's fitting. New Year's today is literally New Year's Day. Do any of y'all partake in New Year's resolutions? Throw it into there. If so, do you have any? I guess that's the question.
A little something. It's a good time for introspection and setting up some goals. Kind of like you have a fiscal year in business where you set what you want to do. I kind of look at it that way. Just want to make sure I make the right moves on economically. Pushing up to the end of the year, try to knock out as much stuff that I said I was going to do last year as possible. So just want to try to keep that energy.
Yep. G.
Yeah, I've done in the past resolutions, but this year was a little different. Just kind of like you said, more introspective going into 2025. I think 24 and everything. I don't know. It's like I feel like the COVID effect that was going on. It's like this is be the first full year where it's like that's really like not impacting like people's like off everybody back to office, the markets and everything. They're starting to bring the interest rates back down, so things are starting to shift back to like what we kind of always knew them as. And I'm just how can I say making sure I'm prepared to ride the wave. Pause.
Okay. Johnny P.
Oh, I mean, I've done, the resolutions in the past. This year, I ain't really, made no 2025 resolutions. In my head, honestly, I've been kind of in the new year for the past couple of weeks anyway, personally, just thinking ahead and, planning. So, a couple of years ago, I kind of, I decided if you're going to change, you ain't got to wait to change. You just, change if and when you want to. So if you're putting it on the new year, that's you probably don't really want to change that much.
Got it. Real.
I say I've never really taken them like super serious, but I do kind of have one for myself this year. It's to be intentional about creating short-term goals. got kind of get, it's easy to become real stagnant if you don't have those short-term goals or you know what I mean. So, and that's something that I've realized, just having long-term goals can make you feel like your year was just, like you shitted a year away. And so yeah, that was mine. Try to be more intentional about creating these short-term goals and having these smaller boxes to check on the way to the bigger one.
Got it. Yeah, I made like very small ones. Like one of my bigger goals that I want to cut back on sugar intake. Just because of how that broadcasts off a long period of time. Being more intentional about like eating healthier, generally speaking. Um, yeah, just working on small steps toward just the overall healthier lifestyle. It's probably like the manageable, easy resolution for me this year. Um, all right. With that said, icebreaker number one, or number two. G, I think you put this into the chat maybe a week or two ago. Um, it's a civil war happening. Uh, there's Vivek and Elon versus MAGA. Uh, weekly, it's getting spicy. Elon, he done cussed out and demonetized all the MAGA influences. Um, called them deplorables. Vivek, he's running down how American culture ain't shit and foreigners do it better. I don't know, guys. What is y'all feelings? What is y'all sentiment inside this conservative feud, the civil war of the MAGA, if we may?
Get your popcorn. Mind your business. But if you want to get into it, I think you should instigate as much as you can. Be like, dang, can you believe he said that? And then say the same thing for the other side, and just make them just go at it. Take some of their divide and conquer type of mentality. I do love to see a lot of the FBA talking points being used by the MAGA crowd, like talking about Vivek's homeland and why he fled, and exactly what we say. They have a tether problem. I wouldn't be surprised if pretty soon they start stealing that word like they take a lot of the other things that we do. So very exciting time. Rough time for tethers. They're getting on both sides now.
So do y'all think that the H-1B visa is impactful to Black people at all? That seems to be what is based around mostly. If it is, should we mind our business then?
What you mean, hell yeah? Like, I like when you say hell yeah, that sounds like as if a no brainer. Like, can you elaborate?
I think there's Black people in tech. I know Trey could probably attest to this a little more than I could, but I think when you read about it, I think there are a lot of opportunities for even the Black people in the middle class that are ended up, getting left over. Not just white people, but it's Black people that could be taking those jobs and probably would get those jobs instead of some of the people they're bringing over here to do it. So it's something to look into and be, aware of. But we got bigger issues, but that's still one of them.
I was with you till the end, John.
You think this is the biggest issue affecting
Black people? I wouldn't say the biggest one, but I just don't want to downplay it.
Okay, that's not the biggest issue.
I don't want to
Oh, my bad,
my
bad.
I mean, yeah, we do have bigger issues, but this is, what I'm saying?
Bro, we agree, bro. My bad.
Okay, yeah, we agree. My fault. I'm sharpshooting. My bad.
I don't know if I agree, because when you start talking about that H-1B, these typically, like, there's always going to be exceptions, right? But these visas are for certain jobs, or I would say certain types of candidates, where how can I say, like, it's like
I can read you the requirements really quickly if you want.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. To qualify for H-1B visa in the United States, the educational requirements are as follows. The applicant must have a bachelor's degree or higher in a related field. Applicant must have a degree or its equivalent from a college or accredited university. Applicant must have required credentials to perform job duties. Applicant's education, training, or experience must be equivalent to all right, it's all bachelor's degree shit. Applicant must have recognized expertise in the specialty. I know that I was looking at it the other day, but I think it kind of specifies inside very specific sectors. I think tech is one, engineering is another. Maybe it's like 2 or 3 more fields that it is, but it's hyper. Well, it's supposed to be specialized foreign immigrants that have, well, yeah, again, special skills inside these specific fields.
Yeah, and I'm looking at a list of some of the most common like career fields. I'm looking, it says accountants, auditors, architects, biologists, chemists, civil engineers, educators at higher learning, economists, graphic designers, more engineers, surgeons. So, I mean, it's a list of people. I say it's to say, I don't think that these are the black jobs Trump was talking about when he said immigrants taking up black jobs. It wasn't the HB1 visa jobs. Is what I'm saying.
What's the black job then?
Hold on. But
no, you I know for a fact that you knew exactly what Trump was talking about when he said black jobs months ago, but now you're starting to pivot on the other side. I'm talking about what you was talking about.
I'm talking. When I said black jobs, yeah, we do have a lot of those other jobs. But if Trump had said, "Oh, these H1P1s, they're not taking your jobs, black people," then I think black people would be offended by that.
Yeah, but when Trump said black jobs, and I use it in the same context, you know exactly what types of jobs I'm talking about because you agree that those are quote unquote black jobs.
But here's my thing. Here's my thing about it though. It's still black people in those sectors.
Sure.
And who do you think's gonna get looked over first for the foreigner?
But I guess my point is,
if it's a person from a say it's somebody from Winston-Salem State or Howard, it's a HBCU.
They already getting looked over for
somebody.
the counterpart
for them to look us over though. Why bring more people over that will look us over when we already having the issue with being overlooked?
But that assumes that you're actually qualified for the role that you're quote unquote being looked over for.
So you say we're not qualified for these jobs?
Not everybody. Not everybody. I mean, at the end of the day, my nigga,
that's tough, bro.
Hey, Thomas Beck, we're gonna get there. This is the icebreaker. Give us about 10 minutes.
Everybody's look. We talk about these jobs as if like it's paying houses and putting up roofs or whatever. Like these are jobs that typically, like I said, require certain educational paths, certain experience.
But there is H-2B visas as well, which is specifically that
labor.
Kind of work.
Is that labor intensive?
Yeah. So if you want to argue for those agricultural workers who come in over with the visas to take certain jobs, but the reality is the reality, yeah, exactly. The reality is that a lot of these jobs they don't find amongst black, white, and everything else. They're looking for certain candidates that don't exist.
What did they do before? Like, how did we get before all this immigration? How did we get the job done? Like, why do we need them? Maybe we should educate our own people, then we wouldn't have to need them.
It's a global economy, right? So these are multinational enterprises, right? So
cheap labor, bro.
What's cheap labor?
That ends up being like the loophole that Vivek and Elon specifically are attempting to exploit is the ability not just to bring over the 0.001% talent, but cheap labor that can't leave from your job. I think that's kind of like one of those one of the catch-22s of the visa is that like you really can't complain on the job. So like they end up being, I guess, quote unquote, put towards like I guess like whatever harsh working conditions inside tech would be, which is probably making sure that you got to work a bunch of hours and like very stringent not requirements, but things that they have to get done. But that does end up being one of the things that they're pushing for. Well, that they're looking both to benefit from specifically, and that's kind of been one of the talking points that you've heard. I forget what the Republicans have been calling it, indentured servants. I think that's what they're pulling out right now. They're saying that Elon and Vivek are looking to get cheap labor indentured servants to choose, not to choose, but to take the jobs of Americans, skilled Americans at that.
But see, that's my thing. If you look at our education system, it's not creating those skill sets for these types of professions. When you're talking H-1B, like most kids go to school, they're not learning coding and programming or like big data analytics.
Are you saying that there's a deficit of engineers, people like people in tech or biology, any of these fields in America? You think that there's a deficit of applicants for these sectors?
Yes,
they've been saying that though.
That's the whole thing I'm saying, that there is a deficit. There's not a big enough pool given the size of these companies, the demands. You know, it's all built off profit. So everybody's trying to race for AI. Like, you need more and more.
But it can't. Well, all right. So I guess you're talking about different sectors, but you wouldn't say that for tech though, right? Like, there's not a shortage of people in like talent in tech in America. And people getting degrees. Like, I think there's been a bunch of layoffs, if anything, explicitly within like the tech sector.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. That we're talking about the tech sector versus really looking at more niche jobs within tech that require certain skill set. Like, yeah, the world of tech and layoffs is one thing, but there are certain jobs that aren't getting laid off. And then there are certain jobs that can't get filled because the people who got laid off ain't qualified to fill those positions. Like, it's levels.
I guess I have to, and I guess Trey, you further deeper into the wormhole of tech than me. Maybe you could speak towards like some of those positions. Is there like a deficit at high skilled coding tech opportunities and or jobs or applicants?
Oh, I'll say yes and no. I have been in places where they tried to interview for a person to fill a role and they had a difficult time filling that position. But I've also seen places where they hire people that came in off that visa, and then they end up only hiring other people within their same ethnicity. So you bring in one, put them in the management position, all of a sudden the whole, that whole part of the business becomes, that demographic of people. So it just exacerbates the problem. So I think it's kind of a problem that kind of creates itself, because also, I mean, it's kind of like a self-creating prophecy, because if you're saying that we don't have the people over here for the talent, so therefore you bring in people from somebody else that can't leave, then you disincentivize American education system for making new people to be qualified, because it's cheaper just to bring in people from overseas. So that's part of the bigger problem. You can't make the problem justify not fixing the problem. You know what I mean? I think that's more.
I think we're saying different things now, because I've always said our school systems aren't preparing kids for the realities of like the skills they would need to be successful as a professional. Like, they took away.
I mean, I may cut you off, but you're not really. I'm trying to get you. If there's no incentive because they can just bring in cheap labor, then why is the school system going to? Because we had the talent at one point, but we were able to get all of this done without this immigration. So that means we have the potential. But if we don't have,
when you say all this done, like, at what year? Before computers were invented? Like, what are you like? It's a whole new world. Like, when was this all this getting done? Like, because this is an age of the internet. You're talking about like a pre-internet age of getting all this done. We're in a global economy like never before. It's like everything's global. There's more multinational enterprises than ever. All these businesses have offices in multiple countries. It's not like everything's isolated to just what business gets done in America. It's all global. It's a global supply chain.
But they push FBAs out of these industries, because FBA people
they've always done that though to us. That's not a new phenomenon.
So you're saying that we don't have the talent, but you're also saying that they're pushing us out, and then you're saying that bringing in the replacement is justified, when in reality we just need to.
Nobody's justifying. I'm just speaking to the reality of why at the end of the day, I think you're hearing when I say that the talent isn't there, it's like you're hearing that as a diss, whereas I'm speaking just to the reality of our people haven't been trained with a skill set to take advantage of these opportunities. That's what I'm saying. That's why the talent isn't there. I'm not saying that people can't learn these skills, that people can't develop these talents, but as we stand today as a community, that's not where we are. And so from a business perspective, being America, the experiment that it is, like that's also the other thing too, is like the whole country's built off of immigrants. So it's always
built off slavery, bro. It's not built off immigrants, bro.
Listen to you, the people who owned the slaves were crazy. What, nigga? What were the people who owned the slaves?
You said
were they not immigrants?
You said built off of. What do you mean they was built?
Yo, can you like not get in your feelings for one second?
That's
because
it's
like
that's dangerous rhetoric, bro.
It's not dangerous rhetoric, nigga. America isn't a country that the natives built, nigga. Everybody here is from somewhere else. Immigrant niggas immigrated here and were in power.
No. I'm talking about black people. We aren't immigrants.
But I'm not. You're not listening. I'm not
being emotional. I'm just correcting that because you're saying.
But you're not. But you're not. No, you're not listening. You're trying to make me say something that I'm not even saying. Like you just gotta listen.
Your words.
You cutting me off. I have yet to finish my thought because you cut me off to try and make me speak like David Walker. Okay. But nigga, I'm not like speaking in anything that's inaccurate. This country is built off of immigration. It is. It's how it works. The Europeans immigrated here. They got their people to come here. There were so many different ways. Everybody comes here to America for the American dream. That's what this shit is branded as. Everybody outside of America is trying to come here. And it will always be that way. Like that's like America's bread and butter. This is the land of opportunity. This is the land of capitalism. This is the land where you could be a nigga doing Bollywood in India and can come here and be Vivek in a generation. Like this is what America is. So when you talk about that reality and you look at the senators, the Congress folks, all of these folks are a derivative of an immigrant, and they are not just going to like not allow their other people access to the country. Like they're just not going to do that. So they're going to have ways to handpick who they let in. They're going to have ways to like make sure they weed out people who they don't want coming over as much, especially black and brown countries. They make sure that their process to get here is way different than white countries. It's just what it is. And that is just why this stuff is in place. It's not going to ever just be like it's always been against us. They always want us at the lower class. Like that's just what it is.
Gee, we're not immigrants, and if you take us out of it, then there wouldn't be an America. So for you to say America was built on immigrants, that's a fallacy, because America is built off of the free labor, and the immigrants who came over to freeload off of that free labor. That's what it is. It's not like we needed immigrants to come over here. They needed immigrants to suppress us and have a buffer class, because if you notice, as soon as we start getting a foothold, like after the Civil War, there was a flood of immigrants, and as soon as like after the civil rights movement, there's a flood of immigrants because it stifles us out. And then for us to give credit to the immigrants when the credit
nobody's giving credit. Like, yo, this isn't a giving credit thing. Nobody gave anybody credit. Is what I'm saying. Nobody. I don't even understand like how I make a statement and you turn into giving nigga. It's not credit. It's a reality. Now, if you don't agree, it's multiple ways to get from Charlotte to Durham. You don't always have to take the same highway. If you feel like your opinion is that America's built on slavery and immigrants had nothing to do with America, that can be your opinion. My opinion is that when you look at the quote unquote founding fathers of the country, they were all immigrants. None of these niggas are like they derive from immigrants. They're either they're people immigrated here or they immigrated here, and they continue to do that until they moved all the way west, and they literally built all of this shit because people migrated to America. Like that's just the reality.
They built it because they had free labor.
Hey fellas, really quickly, not just I'm gonna allow y'all to continue.
Why two things can't be true?
I'm gonna give a little context to what Vivek said. I think this is his full post speaking about America and immigrants.
This is what Vivek Ramaswamy had to say. The reason top tech companies often hire foreign born and first generation engineers over native Americans isn't because of an innate American IQ deficit, a lazy and wrong explanation. A key part of it comes down to the C word, culture. Tough questions demand tough answers. And if we're really serious about fixing the problem, we have to confront the truth. Our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long, at least since the 90s and likely longer. That doesn't start in college, it starts young. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. A culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World or Zach and Slater over Screech in Saved by the Bell or Stefan over Steve Urkel in Family Matters will not produce the best engineers. What do you think about this?
All right, I'll toss it back to y'all guys.
The accent kind of threw me off a little bit, which is another problem.
The suspect of the New Orleans
My bad.
Oh man.
Which is another problem why we don't need all these visas like that. I had an interview one time, and bro, I did not understand one question he said. I had to ask him to repeat like every question at least 3 times. I had to walk. I know I'm not getting this interview, so I mean, like, this is what we'll have more of if this is the direction we want to go. It's like not only are we discriminated against, we also, if we can't understand what they're saying, that's an even bigger factor against us as well. Like, this whole thing is bad news. It only benefits the corporations because they have cheap labor, and it's like, you know how they say they have a solution at first, and then they give you a problem to justify the solution they wanted in the first place. The solution they have is they want people that they need that job because if they get fired, they get deported, so they can't complain. They'll have to work for cheap. They're not going to be as pushy. So they say they don't educate us. So then when they say, oh, well, we have to bring those people over here, and we're just falling for it. Like, we're playing tic-tac-toe when they're playing chess.
Gotcha. So does anybody else have an opinion on the actual commentary on American culture? Fair, false, true? Thoughts?
I mean, I think it has been. Yeah, I mean, we do have. I mean, we talk about it on the show amongst Black people and the stuff they get pushed, and I think they've sacrificed American culture. A lot of these big corporations with the movies, the music. Sometimes it's at the expense of Black people. That American culture has been sacrificed to make us look like we're the idiots or the clowns. I mean, a lot of cultures, and I think, you know, the rappers that they choose to make, you know, the biggest one, the movie stars, the lifestyles that a lot of these people have. I think,
but I don't think he's not specifying to Black culture, but just he thinks American culture in general.
And I think there's things that have happened to Black culture are symptomatic or indicative of the big grand scheme of things with American culture. Also, I think it's the same, you know, kind of one and the same. We've seen like even with when we talk about the nepotism and stuff and how we've allowed you know, certain people, like even the George W. Bush and, you know, a lot of the political candidates we've had.
So I guess you would agree that bad American culture has led to a lack of American talent.
Don't let them push you off.
In essence, that's what his tweet is pretty much laying out.
I mean, I do think we have an issue with talent in America. With what I mean, look at our TikTok versus look at the Chinese TikTok.
Now we got an issue with talent.
I'm saying America in general. I wouldn't specify it to Black people. I ain't gonna say there's a lack of Black talent, but
I said America too. I didn't say just Black people. I said the whole pool, but I'll be quiet.
No, but I mean, I think there is a problem with American culture. Yes, the talent wise, I think I think there's a
Trey, you don't think there's a problem with American culture, bro?
Not compared to Vivek's culture, where you can't even get on a bus without like mass graping and all that stuff going over there, and they're washing their hair with like, saying all kind of animal excrement and everything like that. And then they have a problem with a whole caste system, an anti-black caste system over there that is in full effect, and like they don't even put the black people on TV over there. And also they have a skin bleaching problem over there. And also
So do
they have
you
a
think
problem
that
with
you ain't answering the question?
Hey, hold on, Trey.
So,
Trey,
so
do you think that
hey, can I
there's
finish answering the question?
No,
Can I
relative
finish?
to
Trey,
any-
Hold on, wait.
Trey, no.
It's two
Trey,
people
can I
talking
finish-
right now.
Can I finish answering the questions because Trey cut me off?
Everything
Go
got to
ahead.
be relative to something else.
Like I think
That's the
there
world.
is. Hey, but I think there is an issue with American culture. You sitting up here complaining about it right now. Like, so I
But
mean,
I don't let them talk shit about it. You can't come from that culture and then talk
talking
about
about
mine.
something completely different, bro?
But you can't do that, bro. My house, I can't be living on the street and then clown your shoes. Like you don't got shoes. I got shoes. I'm gonna let you roast my shoes. No, bro. I'm gonna be like, at least I got shoes at that
okay,
point.
but Trey, the question wasn't if he said it or not. The question is there an issue with American culture?
I don't
Like,
think the problem is.
outside
I
of what
think the
he
problem is
said.
he said it though. The problem. Nobody said that our culture is perfect. I think people are like, Vivek, who are you to say any of this?
So
Like,
that's
you
a
should be
different
saying
thing.
thank you.
But that's a different question though.
Gotcha. Hey,
Yeah,
so
I don't
let's go, Johnny. Finish off your thought. Then we'll go to
Well,
Real.
because I think there is an issue with American culture, and I think, like I said, black people have been. I think we've been sacrificed. I think you see what they do to us, and how they play us and how they portray us in this culture. Or like the Stefan Urkel versus the Urkel. I think that is a problem with our culture, and we need to fix it. Black people need to fix it amongst ourselves first. That's what's going to help us more. But it's an American thing for sure.
Who's better
Real.
than us though? My fault. Y'all right.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a different question, bro. But it's like
I clearly believe that there's I think that there's a clear problem with American culture. I mean, you just look at what America did to build itself, or what the immigrants did to build the country into what it is. I mean, it's just fucking terrible. Like the foods we eat and all it's just terrible. And I mean, at the end of the day, I do agree with what King George was saying. He said our culture not prioritizing the native isn't justification to import foreigners. I agree with that, but I think that that's two separate questions. I think that's the same thing Trey was going. You're getting caught up in the fact that he's the one that said it, but the question is the cultural problem. Like it doesn't matter who's saying anything, and that's what made you want to compare it to the culture there. Like, I mean, I think that that's unnecessary. In my opinion, I think that's unnecessary to just answer the question. I think that there's clearly a problem with American culture. That it's a selfish, you know what I mean? Like you can just tell it's so many problems, and you can tell like just. I mean, I don't think that there's a question that's a question that you should feel a way about.
Who should we be like though? Like if we're not, like if there's a problem with our culture, who's a good model? Who's a good example of like what we should emulate?
I
It seems
believe
like a
you
grass
have
is
that.
greener type
What I'm
situation.
No, I think that you can answer the question without having to say, "Oh, but what about them? Who you want me to look like?" Like, or you can just answer the question from what you believe within your heart and what you see wrong based on just what your knowledge is. Like, you don't have to go and like point at somebody else to make yourself right. You see what I'm saying?
Grass. It seems almost like grass is greener type situation where the grass ain't greener nowhere else, and you like talking about your shit, but when you, especially when it's brought up by somebody else, I know you said that's not the question, but I think our culture over here is, I don't think we're ever going to glorify nerds over like jocks. That's not human nature. Nobody ever did that. The warriors and the masculine men were always the ones who got the glory.
we sent them niggas overseas to fight.
But then if that leads to a lack of talent, should we complain about that? And I think that
they do
the
that
question
in India
is
too, though. Nobody doesn't do that.
And I guess to try and directly to the question that you asked, I think his tweet, if you believe the tweet or not, he states that there's a lack of talent in America, and the reason why these immigrants are being brought in here and are also succeeding is because they have better culture.
Do they have better culture?
Inside the guise of the talent that they're bringing in for H1B1, he's making an argument that they do, and that's why they're getting chose.
So do you think other countries like prioritize education differently, or prioritize the education and structure the education for the productivity of the individuals much better than we do?
Yeah, I mean,
give me an example.
Talk about Nigerians when they come over here and how they can only be doctors, lawyers, or like
Or
engineers, and that's like a cultural thing that has directly led to like some of the success they see in this country, where black culture isn't necessarily that strict with what we expect out of our youth and what we expect our kids to go study and stuff. That's a cultural thing. That's
Bro,
like,
I think if you take the top percent of foundational Black Americans and the top percent of Nigerians, it'll be comparable. Like you're just comparing them to
what about the
you're
what about
comparing us
He's
top
talking
to
about
what
down.
about the
culture.
80%? Trey, take the 10 out, take the other
But
10.
that's
What
not
about
fair
the
because if you take only the Black Americans who can travel
It's
to
the average,
Africa
the
and
average.
you compare
Johnny,
them
you knew what that
to the
example was
African
about to do.
natives, yeah, bro, you
What?
can't their culture is not better. It's a culture of like if you're a refugee, then you have to have a higher standard because you can get deported and you're so thankful for what you got. If you're a Black American, you can afford to travel to Nigeria. I'm sure if you took that percentage of Black Americans and compared them to the Nigerian overall, the Black Americans would be higher too. And they're not gonna be over there talking about, oh, we are better than y'all people, because that's not how we move. But the reason Nigerians do that when they come over here is because we cheerlead that behavior when they're not better than us, bro, just because they get the few that are handpicked to come over here for this specific purpose, and then they are doing well. So, and then we have plenty of at our university with the rights that we fought for. So, like, how are you giving them credit? They need to say thank you, not tell us we can't learn from them. They should learn from us. None of that make any sense.
I mean, I don't think that necessarily spoke to the cultural thing about it. I mean, yes, it was like you
So
said.
what about their culture is better? What about
I
the
just gave you
female
an example.
circumcision?
I just gave you an example of Nigerians in America, and like,
Would you trade that? Would you
I'm
trade
not trying
that?
to be. I'm not trying to be Nigerian, Trey.
But if their culture's
I'm
better,
not trying
then
to
why wouldn't
compare
you?
what's better or not. I was just speaking to a specific issue that I know from having friends and knowing people from that culture when they come over here, what they focus on versus all the black people we know, Trey, me included.
Nah,
It's
I
not
know
the
I know
same.
plenty of Black people in tech making doing big shit, and they got money saved up, they got investments. We got G on the panel doing right thing, Q. You know what I'm saying? Y'all doing good too, man. So I mean, I
I'm
don't
not
like this
saying, bro,
narrative, bro. It's
you ain't gotta
dangerous.
like it, Trey. You ain't gotta like it, but
But
it
it's
is
not
what it
true.
is.
It's not true, bro. I know too many successful Black people for you to tell us that
I'm not
our
saying
culture.
I didn't say there were no successful black people, Trey. I'm talking about the culture that we grow up on.
That's not our culture.
Motherfuckers
Is
wanted to go to the
lower
NFL and shit
class,
before we wanted to be doctors. I
but
wanted to
our
jump on
culture is
basketball. That
not.
was culture. Michael
Our
Jordan is
Hey
culture.
culture.
fellas,
That's culture.
Our
Niggas,
I
culture is
think
not
that
the least
niggas don't
common
want
denominator.
niggas don't want a computer program. They want to dunk. That's culture.
So you think? I mean, I think you're talking about. I think that's a reflection of your circle, bro. That's not a reflection
That's
of
a
mine.
reflection of America,
Respectfully.
bro.
Well,
No,
you don't
no,
think
I don't know about that.
Okay.
you don't think entertainment is like American culture, like
We're
like
talking
a
about. I thought we were
grand
talking
part of
about
our
Black
culture?
American culture.
nah, his speech
Entertainment
is
we
talking about like
Man, no,
general American
nigga,
culture.
no,
never said
nigga,
black.
no.
He's
Nobody
trying to
said
move
that.
him
Nobody
now.
ever said that, yo.
Entertainment is a part of everybody's culture.
Well, I'm talking. Okay,
Oh
so you don't
boy.
think that entertainment is at the forefront of American culture?
Nah, not like it. Entertainment is globally.
Bro, how can you deny that entertainment isn't
LeBron
arguably
James
like,
paid $60 million, bro.
bro, like
I'm saying
Hollywood
we
is
have
here. Like all
Like
the,
it's,
we
like
have
it's in
the
the
best.
money. It's in the
Hey
money.
fellas,
But
2
they
minutes left
watch
on the
our
topic.
shit
Two
too.
minutes left on the topic.
But it's in the money. We pay
sports,
teachers
you know,
$60,000.
sports is a part of entertainment, right?
They pay
Like,
LeBron
Yeah,
$60 million.
yeah.
So
What
you-
about soccer? That's pretty big internationally, right?
yeah, but look at the global sport of soccer versus just what America does for the NFL. Like you're talking about the global population supporting football versus the American population supporting football. And when you look at what, say, an NFL teams are worth in the billions, I don't know. Like there might be just as many international soccer teams worth the same amount. Like when you put that in perspective,
the highest paid athletes are not NFL players or soccer players.
nobody said the highest paid athletes. I said the
talk
most
about
wealthy
money.
teams.
Oh, our NFL teams, not these soccer teams that can play their players the more money than anybody in the NFL.
Don't
But
baseball
that's a
players
player-
make more?
about
Don't
that-
baseball players make more than football players?
Baseball players make more, yeah.
Yeah, but
that's
the
about like
baseball team's not worth
like
more
player
than the fucking
negotiation.
Cowboys.
I don't think that
Player rep
prioritizing sports and being entertained by sports is anything uniquely American. I think that's human nature. I think they were doing that before America, and they'll be doing that after America. If you go back to the gladiators, they were celebrated as well.
Nobody does
Bro,
it like
when you go to
America,
college
glorified.
outside of America, these niggas don't have fucking football teams and basketball teams and all like
Then
it's
why
not
don't they
like
go to our
that.
colleges? Then why are they coming to our college and we're not going to theirs?
Hey,
We
fellas,
do
fellas,
though.
fellas,
I did.
fellas.
Not really.
Just to make sure
You
we
an
have some
exception.
space on the back end, I'm gonna give everybody a minute to kind of wrap up. It sounded like we got stuck on the Vivek question, so I'll just repose the question of what his tweet was about, and y'all have about a minute to answer to kind of finish up the conversation. I think that he said that there is an American culture issue, and it has led to a lack of talent inside the quote unquote. Well, we'll just leave it at that. Inside, there's been a lack of talent due to an American culture problem. G.
Yeah, look, I think the message is accurate, but just the wrong messenger for sure. And like we were saying earlier, like there is a lack of certain people in positions that we need. And I mean, not like a certain. So the available pool of talent for certain roles within these organizations, the schools they went to, their experience, like it's not enough of them preparing them for these key roles. Is my overall point, and that's a culture thing. When you look at all the wealthy countries in the world, we're not like highest ranking in education. We're actually like not even top 10, I don't think, when you look at the top tier countries in the world. So it's like when you look at I'm talking about these
school.
I'm talking about when you rank countries education versus one another amongst these major countries, the US is never in the top 10. When you look at healthcare amongst major countries, the US is never in the top 10. And when you look at that, how our country has allowed like the food industry to essentially like kill us with whatever they put in the food and the things that they allow here, as an example, that they don't allow in the EU. Just a small example culturally, like a lot could be better here. Not to say that, it's perfect, but a lot could definitely be better in the US in terms of our culture.
Gotcha. G, I'll throw to you. Does America have a culture problem, and is it leading to a lack of professional talent?
You said G, who you meant?
Oh, my bad, G. Trey.
Oh, no, I don't think America has a cultural problem. I think we have a problem with unfettered capitalism, where this is all about cheap labor, because they want people that come over here desperate, willing to do anything, work for whatever, and then won't complain because they can lose their citizenship. And that's what it's about at a higher level. I think we did fine before immigrants. We'll be fine without them. And if we talk comparing cultures, our culture, foundational Black American culture, has more patents than any of these other immigrants that come over here, because they come over here to be workers. We innovate. That's our history. And I think America would be stronger if they funded foundational Black Americans who have a history of innovation versus trying to take the cheap way out and bringing people from overseas. It's not the culture, it's capitalism, unfettered. Some of
culture.
You said what?
that part of it, but you're talking about the education. But I'm talking about the root cause is trying to save $1 and have, because America was built off of slave labor or cheap labor. So they're bringing these immigrants in for cheap labor. It's not, that is the problem. The culture is, they manipulate the culture because they want to support that. They don't want us to be educated, because then they're going to have to pay us, and we're going to innovate.
Hey, Thomas Beck, we getting there.
Hey, Trey, but wouldn't slavery be a part of American culture?
The whole thing is American culture, bro. If you know what I mean?
We're talking about education, though. Are we talking about the capitalism? We talking about slavery? We talking about us? We're blaming. I don't blame the American people for any of this.
System, fucking, like,
He said the lack of culture has led to a lack of like.
But that's not what Vivek said. Vivek said it's about us worshiping the prom queen and the jocks and stuff. He didn't say it's about slavery. Y'all just introduced that in there. Vivek would never dare say anything that it's about capitalism, because he's a capitalist. He's doing that sleight of hand thing where he's trying to tell us it's our fault and then give us a problem that a solution that benefits him.
But
rather
would
than
you
fix the
then
problem.
just say so? But you're saying capitalistic exploitation, which is American culture is built off of that.
That's not what
Is
Vivek
an
said.
issue. No,
Yeah, but Vivek,
he just said American culture. So
nah,
posing the
he said the
question,
prom queen, bro.
That was the
well,
example that he gave.
well, he gave a couple different examples, but he spoke about how there's not like a glorification for, I guess, like simplified smartness, like the math Olympiad XYZ. I can pull up the tweet to read more, but if we're broadening it out, not even specifically to what was inside his example, and just asking the question now, is there an issue with American culture? It sounds like you're pointing to the issue in American culture that is, I think you said unfeathered capitalism or capitalistic exploitation, that has led to cheap labor and getting that abroad and not cultivating talent onshore because it costs too much. That would be a American cultural issue, though, right?
Yes, but also have nothing to do with what Vivek said.
But we can move past that. Like, okay, that has nothing to do with Vivek said, but you're saying that that's an American cultural issue, though, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Unfettered capitalism and not prioritizing the citizen. But I think that's what the MAGA people would agree with too. But which that's why it's confusing, because the MAGA people are saying that, I think the MAGA people are saying they're against the corporate exploitation. They're against bringing in migrants for cheap labor. So I'm saying we have a culture of doing that, and then that's a problem. But then you're bringing up under the context of what Vivek said of this culture. I think we do have a culture problem, but not the one that Vivek's saying. And I think it's difficult to have this conversation when we talk about Vivek, because and then bringing into capitalism, because those are two solely different issues.
And I think that if we're just asking the general question, this is where it sounds like you did it.
Yeah,
like
I do.
To
I
actually explain what version of the culture and what cultural issue you do think is a problem. Again, I think that it sounds like you keep getting hung up on making sure that you distinctly differentiate between what Vivek said and that you don't believe that there is a cultural issue in America inside that stance, but you think that is unfeathered capitalism. But you also saying that capitalism leads to the issue that Vivek is saying, though, correct?
Yeah, but also add that we have a cultural problem with prioritizing immigrants over the citizens.
Okay, so
and I don't
that's
think
another
Vivek would agree
American
with that
cultural
either.
problem.
Yeah, I don't think Vivek would agree with that either. So we do have a
We're
cultural
not,
problem.
we're not asking this
we
to
do have an
Vivek
educational problem in America.
Vivek to agree with it. Johnny, we'll go to you, and then we'll go to Rail, and then we'll shout out Thomas Beck. We're gonna get to the snow bunnies after that. Johnny, talk to us.
Yeah. I mean, like to what Trey was saying, like we'll keep it just on the education, because I think it's obvious that there are, problems with American culture. We take it outside of that, but even on the educational system, like there is a big problem in American culture. Like a lot of, like, even with how the schools are set up, I think a lot of that drives kids from even trying to even go to school. Like, and a lot of kids are growing up. Everybody was looking more towards entertainment. It's just a natural thing, and the way that it is exploited in America, it makes education less important. There's we pay our teachers $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, and we wonder why we're not getting the results that we want. But we pay these NFL, NBA, baseball players $200 million to do their jobs. So there's obviously a disconnect in where we're putting our money, and I think we are seeing it in the results. Even outside of personal choice and what I want to be, you can just look at, how much we paying these people, how much money is going into the systems, and I think that speaks a lot louder to it.
Got it. Rail, wrap us up.
I agree with everything Johnny just said. I mean, I understand like the messenger, you know what I mean, but it's clearly like we clearly have an issue with the culture. Johnny just pretty much painted the same thing the same picture I was going to paint as well.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Nonetheless, That was our
Hey,
50
well,
minute
Roman
icebreaker.
gladiators would pay more than to send LeBron and them over to Ukraine or to the fight. Let's fight wars with them. They ain't fighting wars. Like, we talking about Roman gladiators and stuff. LeBron ain't no gladiator. He dribbled a basketball.
You talking about 2,000 years ago?
We
That's what
LeBron
he said
has
in
learned how to
comment.
actually rap the lyrics of songs. Though. I've been seeing that
I
lately.
seen that lad. He got that lad. He was focused too. He would try
On
to
the
remember
Kendrick
every
too.
last one of them.
I wonder how Drake feel about that. But
Damn.
nonetheless, quick comedy break to go segue. Trey, did you have something that you wanted to close us off? It sounded like you had an epiphany.
Yeah, because I've seen Africans like with throwing into like makeshift hoops and with like crazy ass like elephant trunks, like dragging a bunch of elephant trunks, trying to like get their weight up so they could come, so they could qualify for the NBA. You seen the crazy hoop dream videos? So they build some stuff over there to come ball.
You said they
over
be
here.
dragging elephant trunks. I don't know if I've seen that.
Probably be out there dribbling on dirt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They do all kind of stuff like that to come over here and ball. We have a lot of Africans getting recruited to come into the NBA. So it's like it's just easy to beat up on America when these other people like envy us for doing the same thing. And if we're so bad, why do they come over here? Why do they come over here to go study?
Because
Why
we
they come
pay
here to work on
$200 million to dribble a basketball.
But we don't pay
That's
all
why
of
they
them
coming
that
over
much.
here. Like if they not paying $200 million to dribble a
to
basketball,
exploit the
we are.
American.
They coming over here to
cultural
take
issue.
the money for
I get you.
again. And guess
Oh,
what
I
they
was
take?
talking about regular jobs.
Guess who they taking
regular
it?
jobs.
And G, guess who they taking them jobs from too? Black folks, FBA.
All right, fellas. Let's actually hop
I
into
mean, that is true.
Air horns, bam, 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 bam. The actual topic of the week. I was trying to stall for G a little bit, but fuck it. We'll do it live. He'll hop in the conversation as he gets here. But nonetheless, let's talk about it. Snow bunnies. Is there a problem with interracial dating? I guess I'll toss this out first. Should we prioritize Black love, Black dating, Black marriage, and yeah, Black family?
Oh yeah, I mean, of course. Like we up here, we've talked all last year, about the FBA and how how much of a crunch time it is for our people. So I mean, the only way we're gonna keep that lineage alive is Black love. Has to be important. I've always been on here wanting to be advocates of Black women. I know Trey, might not want to hear that, but even when we first started it,
Man,
that's
chill out.
that's something I never wanted to. But no, they'll tell you. I came when we first started the pod. I would never want to talk bad about Black women, not on the public space. I think we can have our disagreements, but as Black people, I think it was very important that we, stay united. And it didn't go like that on the internet very much last year, but us, as Black men, Black women being united, I think is a very important thing.
Gotcha. So you're saying it is important for us to prioritize Black love, Black marriage, Black family.
Yeah, prioritize it. Yeah.
Rail, talk to us.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree that the priority should be that, like, in the perfect conditions. Well, I won't even say the perfect conditions. We should definitely prioritize. That should be the goal. You know what I mean? In my opinion, that should be the goal. As everybody else does. You know what I mean? Everyone else is doing that, and there's reasons behind it. You know what I mean? So I guess we'll kind of go into that more as the conversation evolves. But I just short answer is I think that it only makes sense for us to prioritize Black love, Black marriage, Black kids, all of that.
Black family, Black community.
Sure.
Trey, talk to us. Should we prioritize Black love, Black marriage, Black family, et cetera, et cetera?
Of course we should, man. Y'all gonna stop. I need y'all to stop trying to make it sound like I don't think that should be a priority. I think
when you say y'all,
I think John said something kind of slick earlier, talking about I may disagree when he said he prioritized Black love and everything like that.
I said talking about Black women on the internet specifically.
Oh yeah, because you said you don't criticize black women. Like,
Oh yeah, I disagree on that too.
Yeah, that was my
I
Yeah,
point.
so
shoot a
you
thing.
trying to y'all us. I'm just saying, just specify who you're
oh,
talking
okay.
about.
Good call out. But I would say prioritizing. I can't be a foundational Black American advocate without advocating for procreation of more Black American families. And to have that, ideally, you would have a Black man and a Black woman, unless you go the route of the Spanish with Bloqueamiento La Raza, where in 2 or 3 generations they turn a black woman into a Hispanic woman. And I think, you know what I mean, we could still have a black community as long as you make sure your interracial kids are on code. And if that kid, stays in the black community, then bam, you got a black family. So I think the question isn't
Wait. Oh, well, I'll let you keep
Just let
going.
him go.
You slid something.
That's a hope in the cup, bro.
Hey,
but hear me out though. I
That
think
was
that
slick how you slid it in there, though. I like that. Go ahead, keep going. Keep cooking. Keep
because
cooking.
I think that if we want to have more black families, then we have to look at the reality right now that unfortunately our lovely sisters not are the least like married, most divorced, all other stuff, and then all these other statistics that I really hate to see. I'm not like dancing on anything, but when you talk about these statistics, people automatically assume that you hate women. When in reality, if you want more black families, you have to look at these statistics objectively and think about why these statistics exist. And I think we have a problem in the community where we are so afraid to criticize women because we live in a gynocracy that unfortunately a lot of men who just want peace and would prefer to have a black woman out there going other places. And I think instead of like asking them why and listening to them, we just immediately want to demonize them and then deny their lived experience. So that's a bigger issue for me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. All right. I guess next question I'll ask then. It does sound like everybody on its face says that we should prioritize black love. Sound like a couple ways it could manifest. We might agree, disagree with. So I'll ask y'all this. If we are pushing for lineage-based restitution, could it muddy the water when it comes down to interracial dating? Making it simpler. Should it be off code if we are looking to community build to date outside the race, date outside of black? Right now, I think that this is all FBA. So FBA, if the intention is lineage based restitution and community building.
What about interethnic then too? Because what if you're FBA and you get with like somebody that's Jamaican or Caribbean or something like that? Because then it can just muddy the
Well,
waters the same way too,
I just
especially if they're off
so
code.
we can add that as a caveat.
I got you.
love for you to answer the initial question first.
Will it muddy the waters with retribution? I don't.
I can.
It
You want me to read? I can read. Go ahead.
Oh, I got you. If there was more to it, then will it muddy the water with
If we are
retribution?
pushing for lineage-based restitution, could dating interracially muddy the water? Long story short, should it be off code to date interracially if we are intentionally community building as FBA?
Man, I think it depends, man. Just like how not everybody from the so-called diaspora is a tether, not every black person who dates interracially is off code. It depends on how, like, if you forget that you're black and you become one of these Tim Scott individuals, then yes. But if you're like Frederick Douglass, who had a white wife towards the end, then he was. I can't. Nobody's gonna say Frederick Douglass was off code.
yeah, I think those things. I understand how you can tie that together and say, like, since we're pretty much looking for the restitution, would it muddy the water if you're dating interracially? I don't believe.
Or having
so.
kids and family interracially, like it would be diluting the lineage, and it would also be giving reparations partially to the people that you're getting reparation from.
Yeah, but if the reparations is owed to you, the people that benefit from your benefit, that doesn't really matter, right?
If, like, let's say, well, I mean, I guess if you're married, that white woman would. Then again, if it's lineage based, the kid is half white, so then that's pretty much where I'm tying it at. Again, if this is an agree or disagree, so it's the opinion's up to you.
Yeah, no. See, the thing is that I understand like the best thing for the black, well, in my opinion, the best thing for the black community is to kind of keep creating black families and black love and all that. I think a lot of that stuff sounds good and it's like the right answer on paper. But for a lot of people, that's just not their fucking. I mean, it's just not their reality. You know what I mean? A lot of the times, you know what I mean. You could. It's more. I think that like the question and the conversation that we're having just it's like very surface level. And it's not literally like experience based. It's just like what sounds good on paper. So I would say
right. in which we will dig deeper. And shout out Trey. Trey actually has like 5 really good questions that digs into a little bit more of this. But starting off, these are kind of like the filler questions where idealistically speaking, of course, we understand that this isn't going to be something that will be able to be replicated across all people. But idealistically and principally speaking, that's kind of where this question is at. Should it or is it off code to date, marry, and procreate interracially if we are pushing for restitution that is lineage based?
I would assume if you believe in the code. If you believe in the code, or you know what I mean, and that the code, yeah, I would say it probably is.
I don't think it is.
Johnny,
I mean,
do you need me to repeat the question, or you got it?
No, I got it. I think, I mean, if based on the FBA code, and it would be off that FBA code. Now I think just based strict, because it's lineage. If you're gonna dilute the lineage, that's against the code. If we talk about, and but here, hey, before you cut me off, Trey, let me finish. Then let me flesh it out fully. I think it depends on a lot of times on like how much you believe in the realisticness of us actually getting those reparations. And if you don't think it's necessarily going to be a thing, then why even play the lineage game? It could just be a race-based thing. But if you think that reparations is something that's actually, tangible, and you see a goal to it, then you have to dig deep down onto that lineage thing. So I think it kind of depends which way you lean on that. But if you don't think it's realistic, then yeah, go ahead, because they'll be black. It'll be still a black race. If you mix with somebody else, your baby will still be black, but it's not going to be 100% FBA. And then if they go and have kids outside of that FBA, then it dilutes it down even further. Then it's getting inherited by people that's not us, that full lineage.
I mean, in order to get reparations, you have to be identified as black on the census and on all your documents, on your birth certificate and all that. And you also have to have a foundational Black American parent that can trace their roots back to 1870. So I don't know if it really muddies.
What about grandparent? So you got a grandparent that's FBA, that don't count?
If your grandparent is FBA, then that means their child would be FBA too, right?
I don't know. I guess.
That's how it would have to be. If your granddad's FBA, then your mom would be FBA too, even if she was half FBA. If she got with a non-FBA person, I guess she'd only be a quarter. I don't really know how.
And then at what point is it too little of a percentage?
I'm not really sure if that's sometimes when you talk of getting to the weeds and you talk and try to break down all these specific things, I think maybe they could get to the back of the queue, and for the majority of the people who don't have that issue, the vast majority, like that's already set. But you know what I mean? It's like, what's the point in harping on?
Well, you could just say it's off code and just keep it rocking. And just
I don't know. I mean, but I don't want to misspeak. I don't want to say. I don't think it's off. I don't know if it's that true though.
It ain't gotta be like, it could just be off code.
I don't want to just say it's off code. If it's
and I guess so expand on that. Why do you believe that it wouldn't be off code?
What is off code means you're not putting your people first.
Right.
And
in
choosing
which like
somebody that's
not
not
like
FBA,
choosing
so
outside of FBA lineage
literally
and
putting
not
somebody.
building what you said should be the priority, which is black love, and black family with black kids. That would be not putting your lineage first.
But what about the guy who I forgot what company he owned, but he paid off all of the black men at Morehouse. He paid off all their tuition, and he has a white wife. Meanwhile, you might have a coonish FBA person who is against reparations. Is the person who donated all that money at Morehouse off code because he has a
Well,
white
are
wife?
you talking about like
So the
that
question would
action?
be,
I mean, Sean Thurman gave that lady a lot of money too. That don't mean it wasn't racist.
But he wasn't black though. That was off code of him.
Right. But it sounds like when you say off code of him, like there's certain things that could be on code and off code, correct? And that can exist within the same person. To
I
where
think it's
if that person donated all the money that you said to the institution that they did, I imagine everybody would agree that that would be on code behavior. In comparison to if he is again this rich black man that has married white, and which also would mean if he has a untimely demise, unfortunately, knock on wood, all of that money would go down to this white woman in her lineage. I imagine that they could make an argument to that part could be off code.
depends on his will though, right? Like it depends on how he can leave his money.
Okay, all right.
However,
So even let's not even get into the weeds of that. In general, it could be stated that he still didn't prioritize black love though, and that would be a part of him that could be off code.
I don't know, bro. I think I would rather ride with him than a lot of black men who are very off code with black wives. I think I could
But
get
why
more
would it
done
have
with
to
a
be
guy
like
like that.
either? Why would it have to be either or? Couldn't you just be a rich black man that donates to community and also like you could be rather be that person that also has a black wife, right? Like it doesn't have to be rich black man with white wife or off code black man with black woman. It could be a rich black man that does great community work and also has a black family, right?
Now, I think it's all about what you contribute to your culture. I don't think who you. If you marry a person who because she's more cooperative, and then she's able to help with like what you got going on, and then you accumulate more money, and then you donate that money to black society, then I'm not just going to automatically call you off code. Was Booker T. Washington? Was
so
this
Trey,
white?
so the thing is that you don't think that people like good people can do the wrong thing too?
Good people can do the wrong thing. Yeah, good
Right.
people can do wrong things. Yeah.
So it's literally that simple. So it's the simple like to say that like just because like it's hard for me to explain because bro, you kind of it's like it's all or nothing. It's always like an extreme or this extreme. It's the thing is that like nigga, you're a person who is fucked up as well, even though you want to be the best person you can be. Like, you know what I mean? It's like literally, nigga, it's not one way or the other. You still can be off code on this and be on code with a whole bunch of other shit. Like that's what he's saying.
I mean, I think even I could have. It's kind of difficult for. I mean, not to like get personal with it, but there's some things that you said that I think are way more off code than the person just having a white wife or a non-black wife. So it's just like I think it's got to be based on your actions. And if your action is marrying somebody, but your behavior after that is you do good things for the community, look out for your people, and all the other. Like if Nat Turner, if hypothetically, if he had a white wife after he got free and he still did all that slave revolt, we say, oh man, that's an off code Negro.
Okay, but then so why does lineage matter then? If it don't,
Why does lineage matter? Because we're
like
talking about reparations.
if your kids could be whatever, and why is it not just about race then?
Your kids have your lineage, don't they?
But it's half lineage though. Like so it don't matter if it's half lineage or or it don't matter if
No,
it's
it doesn't. That's because that's how you muddy stuff up. No, you just have to have lineage on one side.
It may sound like a lot of people gonna get some reparations in one day.
Well, a lot of people, well, everyone who's supposed to get it will get it, and some people may slip through the cracks or whatever. Some people want to marry FBAs just because they know they're going to get the reparation. So be it. People did that on the Indian tribes for the reservations, all that too. People did that with Jewish people. People did that with Asian people. Just because, like, we don't have to have these crazy set of rules where we have to be held to a different standard to get what we're owed.
Okay.
You said we're not gonna have these crazy set of rules to get what we say that last part one more time.
We do not have to have a crazy set of standards to get what's owed to us. Because the Native Americans, if a Native American person has a white husband, and those kids, her kids, still get the scholarships for Native Americans, they can still do the casino. They can still all. They can't be a tribal chief. They can't speak for the tribe or anything like that. But they're still entitled to the set asides that are due to their lineage.
But then, so if you got your great grandfather was Indian, like, cause I got Indian in my family, I can't go back and claim Indian, like, because like it's so far down the line that it don't matter.
We're talking about, you said a parent, now you're talking about so far down the line. Which one are we doing?
It's the lineage, though. The lineage eventually gets, if you don't have a code of keeping the lineage, together with FBA mom and FBA dad, the lineage is eventually going to, disappear or get so diluted to it where it doesn't matter.
I guess Trey, this would be what
I got
ask.
two FBA parents right now. Like, I think that means a lot. Like, it's to say, like, and if I went outside and then my kid would have one FBA parent and one non-FBA, and then based on what they do, they, that next kid might have, somebody else that's not FBA, and then you see what I'm saying? But if we're talking about lineage, you have to keep that lineage strong, and saying it's okay to divide it up is the opposite of keeping it strong and tight.
Well, what if your mixed race offspring or daughter, son or daughter marries a foundational Black American? Is the lineage still strong?
It's not as strong as if it was fully, but yeah, it's still.
I have a white great granddaddy from the plantation. I think you have something like that too. So the lineage is already, like, it's not like we're pure. We've been missing. That's our ethnogenesis.
So I guess let me ask this, because it seems like this is a bit of what you was hinting at, and I'd love for you to clarify. It sounds like you're implying with, like, the statements that we shouldn't be subject to unrealistic standards. That it's unrealistic standards to prioritize Black love. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying it's unrealistic standards to make the stipulations for reparations for foundational Black Americans a higher standard
y'all are going
than it is for that. Yeah, okay. I'm saying, like, if we didn't have that stipulation on those people that got reparations, then don't put that on us.
Okay, well then I didn't know that y'all was, like, specifically talking about reparations. We'll probably go down like a long rabbit hole if we just stay on reparations.
Hey, hold on,
Johnny, go ahead and get it off. But then I don't want, like, that's a whole other conversation that we'll stay on for now.
But I was gonna say, if it's not about stipulations though. We're not saying up the standard for getting the reparation. We're just saying, as a people, what code do we hold each other to? And that's a morality thing, not necessarily about getting the reparations, but it's about us having that code amongst ourselves. It ain't about what they qualifying to get the thing. It's about what are we going to do to ensure that we are strong. That's all I'm saying about, like, if FBA is like that, I think it should be important to continue that that lineage. Personally,
I don't disagree with that. The only thing I disagree is automatically designating someone as being off code because of that decision, especially when a lot of people who are in married situations are off code themselves. I think it's based on what you do versus, like, who you marry, because we do have a situation in our culture where a lot of Black men, they just don't want no parts of the matriarchy, bro. And I think if we're not going to talk about why they're marrying other people and we just want to blame them for what they do, I think that's when you enable the problem and exacerbate it, because you can't fix something if you're unwilling to, you can't negotiate if you're unwilling to walk away.
Nah, we're cool. That's we can talk about the why a little bit later on, but yeah, we can talk about the why. That's just, yeah.
I agree. It's ideal though, John. Ideally, you would want to, keep the lineage strong.
You the one that got me on the lineage thing, bro. You the one that made me, So even looking at it. So
appreciate that. Appreciate it. Yeah, I see.
Okay. I guess as we continue stepping towards, like, just the the meat of the conversation. Let's talk about it. Fellas,
So you should got a phone.
have any of y'all, or would any of y'all seriously date interracially? Is that a boundary that you have? Is that a boundary that you have had? Is that something that you would do, regardless if you feel that it is or is not on code?
I like that last.
You might as well ask it. You might as well ask if we have already.
Yeah, I like
But that was a
that.
part of the
Yeah, I
that was a
can't-
part of the question.
Regardless of
yeah.
I explicitly asked that part too.
Oh, yeah, I can't say I wouldn't when I've already had. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't like seriously dated. Nah, like
What you mean serious?
Like brought home to mom.
Never.
Had was boyfriend girlfriend.
Never.
You know, might have took some 18-year chances, if you understand what I'm saying.
Never.
Shout out the club. Y'all understand what that means.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of 2 or 3. Not the
Okay.
Yo,
third.
my wife's a retrend.
Maybe that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, you know me, y'all know my wife's a retrend, so I would say yeah. But other than
Okay.
that, honestly, I didn't never really like grow up
That's
like
not a
having
word,
like,
bro.
oh, I just want to be with black girls. Like I ain't
Are we
gonna lie,
talking
when I
about?
was
Are we talking
younger,
about any? Hold on. Are we talking about anything outside of black or just?
Well, right
like,
now we were speaking more so the Snow Bunny crisis.
oh yeah,
But
no, that
but
ain't.
then we can. I think Trey did want to branch out eventually to
Yeah,
different
interethnic.
interethnic as
Yeah.
well. But right now we're
No bunnies.
going
No, I
Snow
haven't done that.
Bunnies.
I haven't done that.
Damn, that's crazy. Every white guy that I know has been with multiple black women.
that's cap.
You all right, Johnny? What's
No,
cap?
I'm talking about Trey.
Oh,
That's not cap. I've seen.
and most of
I'll see
and most
when
of
we're out. I see black women gravitate to a lot of them. I think we have a Brad
every white
worship
guy you
that
know.
we.
Everyone.
Everyone
know-
I mean everyone I hang with. I mean I might have met and ran across some, but everyone that I've hung with, the
That's probably why
ones.
you hang out with them because they cool. Like that's not a common thing for like white dudes.
I mean,
White guys, you
real's
know.
pretty cool. Real's pretty cool. I know a bunch of black guys who haven't been with white women that are pretty cool, but I don't know too many white guys.
oh
who
no,
haven't
I've been
been
with a
black
white
women.
woman, but I haven't like dated a white woman.
Okay, well, the white guys are kind of the same. Like they don't really be like bringing them out and everything like that.
But I guess those are the guys you hang. I mean, for the average white guy that I know that I interact with and talk to, it's easy at
Oh,
work.
yeah, nah.
I don't know most of them that be like, yeah, I done been with a black woman. Usually, it's quite the opposite for like most white dudes I've ever talked to about that. Honestly,
And then a lot of times, like if you talk to them long enough, they fantasize about it too. They fantasize
just like
about it.
yeah,
They ain't
most
never had it, but they definitely fantasize about it.
Yeah, I was a person. I don't know. Maybe we could do a poll and see.
Oh,
But,
facts. Let me talk
like,
that into the chat. Hey,
because
we do
I
got
just don't
a
agree
decent.
I think I think most white dudes haven't been black.
I saw a crazy stat that before 1960, 60% of all interracial marriages or something like that. I think it was 60% were a white man with a black woman, but now only like 1 or 2% of white men are married to black women, and I think it's 15% of black men and rising. And I think that is a
But that would
problem.
make sense because of
The
white
black
men.
woman.
Yeah, if you're talking about like
for interracial
prior to Jim Crow, the white man could do what he want to. The black man couldn't get a white woman because that black man would still get hung. That white man, again, like he held the power inside that scenario. If we're talking about like Jim Crow South, it would make sense that those would be the numbers before, like there was more leverage given to black men to actually date white women.
So I'm wondering if the number of white men marrying black women went down, or if the number of other, pairings went up.
Explain what
Like
you mean.
did white men lose interest in black women because they were marrying them at it seemed like a higher rate before Mildred Love and the black women.
But you're not. So Trey, you're misrepresenting the stat. The stat is speaking about percentage of interracial marriages, not volume of people being married. So
I didn't miss
I
it.
don't think
I
that there was
asked, I
like
didn't miss
I don't think that there was a bunch of people in 1960 that was marrying interracially. I think it was almost illegal as well inside most places. So it wouldn't be like the amount. But if we're talking about of whatever that whatever the amount was, however small that was, the percentage of that group being 60-40 is different than today. Whatever the number is, the pure volume is going to be higher because it's actually legal and accepted.
So you think the volume stayed the same? It's not like white men.
I kind of just
lost
said
interest.
the exact opposite of that. The volume has increased because of it's become legal in America.
I'm talking about the volume.
And black men
women.
have been able to go ahead.
I was talking about the volume of interracial marriages with white men and black women. I was saying, do you think that's gone down and stayed the same?
I'm sure it's increased as well because it's become more widespread legal. If you're talking about like from 1960 to 2024, 2025, I think yes, it's definitely the volume has went up, but then the percentage has changed by a lot.
That's,
When you
and I
look
think
at the
that's-
actual
yeah.
breakdown of the numbers,
Yeah, I think that's when the gender war was really over, because after Mildred Loving fought with her white man to allow interracial marriage, and then black men had other options. I think that's why you see this trend where more and more black men are marrying interracially, and the black women kind of lost their captive audience. So now that's why I'm here
But-
trying to talk about the reason why that is, so that way we can get ahead of it. Not because I want, more interracial marriage. I'm talking about why are these black men finding it more cooperative mates, is from what they say, in non-black women. Is it because of the gynocracy and the matriarchy? Because whatever
I
it is
think
needs to
that
be addressed.
I think you're posing a really good question. I think that we pretty much get there right before we do get there though. Welcome back, G. We do got a couple questions you missed. Love to get your opinion on it.
For sure.
So should we prioritize black love? Would be the first question.
For sure.
Second, if we are pushing for lineage-based restitutions, could it muddy the water dating interracially? I.e., simply put, is it off code to date snow bunnies if we're building a black community and prioritizing black love?
Yeah, I definitely don't see how you could say that it's on code to be mixing it up, with the whites, especially if that's what you about. Now, I heard Trey talking about the off code, but it's like, we all fall short. Just because you off code today don't mean you are off code, nigga. You had a slip up. You was off code right in that moment. That don't mean your character is just now you are off code nigga now. Nah, but what you did was off code. And if you continue to do it, you off code. That don't mean you an off code person. You know what I'm saying? So I think things can be true. I personally don't know how you can reconcile this idea of being like so pro black community and then making a choice to marry outside of that community personally.
What about to glorify somebody who makes that decision, like say Kamala Harris, for instance? If she does that and you don't see a problem with Kamala Harris having a white husband and you want to put her as your representative, if she's off code, then
she's not even FBA. I don't even know why we talking about.
But she ran as a black woman. That was her shtick.
But she's off code, so she don't get no pass.
A lot of people that had an issue with that.
Like what? Like
a lot of people bring that up.
She don't get no pass. Eve don't get no pass. I know they.
I think that was
no
a
passes
point for a lot of black men specifically.
Serena don't get no pass.
That's a question we might get into later, because I think
that
there
was
is
a sticking point for a lot of black men, specifically like FBA, is about like how does she, like have our best interests. And I think even somebody on here said it, if she's sleeping with the other kind, how could she possibly have our best interest? That was that did come up. Don't act like we just brushed past that.
It came up, but I do think we brushed past.
And there's a reason why. I mean,
Well, her not being black was definitely a common conversation across multiple platforms during the wedding.
It
I say
it
the wedding.
wasn't,
Good
it
Lord,
was,
the election.
man, I don't think it was something that was mainstream. That was a grassroots position because y'all saw how the mainstream
But she
jumped
she
on
got
Janet
asked in like
Jackson.
almost, well, I say 3 of the 4 interviews I've seen her do. They asked her if she was black in her
Like
lineage.
softball quit. You saw how they jumped on Janet Jackson, a real
No,
foundational Black
but I
American
guess
woman.
I'm saying if they're bringing it up, and these are like white people also asking her about her, like if she is actually black. That sounds like it's mainstream. It was a mainstream conversation. I seen CNN have like a panel about it as well. Like it wasn't not mainstream. Is what I'm saying.
I saw,
I've seen it on the mainstream networks. Fox News has definitely had a panel about it.
and I saw a lot of people get attacked for even questioning it. So it's like we're gonna act like it was a safe question to ask.
I'm not
Like if you
saying
go
that it
home,
was. I think that people fought over the question, but I don't think it was something that people didn't mention at all.
you
Like it was a part of the conversation.
mention it at your own risk. Because I brought this up to some people in my family and they chewed me out. And I think
Right. There's definitely people in your family that would chew you out, but it was a part of like the media narrative that was running with her. That was a piece of it. I can agree that her having a white husband wasn't a big part of the conversation, but her being
right.
black was fairly.
She
Like
got plenty of support
piece of it.
from black. She got plenty of support from especially black women during, even though she had a white husband. Those same black women would not support Barack Obama with a white wife, and we all know it.
Okay. All right. Well, Trey, you actually you brought us to a question. I'll play this when it goes down to just some stats with black men dating black women. Then I'll let you pick back up where you was at inside that conversation. It's not necessarily in line like on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 list, but I'll let you pick back up on it. All right, hold on. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Black women.
Well, yeah.
The national average.
They don't get married.
No, they don't like who?
Oh, they don't like black women.
Well, yeah.
The national average for black men who are married, what are they married to?
It's got to be black women.
Black women at what percentage?
Ooh.
Over 85%. But it don't matter though, because once they make money, that's when they go get white women.
White women, yeah.
The national average for making over $200,000, black men, right? How many of those men are married to black women?
I'll give him about a cool
95%.
95.
I believe it.
I do believe it. And then when you hear the horror stories, we got to talk about Scottie Pippen.
Girl.
Lex has a good point though, because they'll show the Scottie Pippen, right? And they'll say, look, this is how black men behave.
Yeah.
But that's not the fact. Destroying the black family has been on the forefront of the mind of the people who created this country. How do you destroy the black wealth in this country?
Yeah.
Destroy the black family. Make black women think that black men don't love them. Make black men think that black women don't respect them. That's all a fallacy. It's not true. The older I get, I'm 40 years old now, the more I realize that everything I've learned from mass media has been programmed by people who have an agenda. What's the narrative?
Nonetheless, Trey, I'll toss it to you first. You were just kind of running down how black men were like starting to leave black women.
I mean, I don't know where. I wish he would have cited his sources because I'm looking at the black marriage statistics, right? That I sent you earlier, blackdemographics.com, and it's showing like the trend is going downward.
But
so
but at 85%, that is correct. That black men marry black women. That is correct.
Yes, but it was 86 before, 87, 88, 92. I'm saying it's trending. I didn't say it wasn't 85. I said it's trending in that direction.
Good point.
No, I it sounded like you were saying that he was saying incorrect stats to where you would need to.
No, he was just adding context.
I'm talking about the 95%. I don't know the 95.
Okay.
I don't know what the demographics are. I don't know that. I haven't seen that native. I'd like to see
Okay. I could look it up in it momentarily. But yeah, go ahead, brother Trey.
Man, I hate to see it, man, because even her reaction in that panel, man, the way she was yelling, what? Like it's just like the knee-jerk reaction is to like believe the worst in black men, bro. And we see this all the time. Like
That's what he was talking about, though.
Yeah, I think that was like where he ended off, like his overarching point.
Like, don't believe like
there's negative narratives being pushed on both sides of the gender of the black gender war conversation that people with an agenda to divide the black family are pushing. Not that it's specifically representative of what's actually happening. If we think that black men are dating snow bunnies and this is rampant, but still at 85% clip, they're marrying and dating black women. You know, again, same difference. Well, he you seen the stats that he ran down. But yeah,
Look like Trey froze. Oh yeah.
oh yeah. Fellas, toss it to y'all.
I think it's yeah, like I said, I think the last stat Trey gave, you know, I think it might speak a little bit to where he going about like if it's trending down, there got to be something to it. But to act like to act like it's all of us or it's a rapid thing, I think those stats, you know, kind of speak to what you really see out here as far as like, yeah, most time, you know, it's all right between black men and black women that I see, and what goes around, you know, my anecdotal evidence, but and the numbers seem to speak for it, for the most part as well. So,
G, talk to us.
Yeah, I think I agree with a lot of what he said. It's you know, and it gets even like further inflamed when with the rise of like the manosphere and the red pill stuff and the rhetoric, like for whatever reason that there is a lot of young black men who feel like black women aren't allies, right? Like that feel like not only are they not allies, almost like we're at war with them is what it oftentimes sound like to me. And I think it's just, you know, it's just unfortunate that people think that way, because in reality, like in my opinion, I just don't, you know, I don't know if that speaks to the majority. I think it's just a very loud minority of people who are, you know, making these claims. And for the most part, like, our people do have proper respect for each other when it comes to roles and things like that. You know what I'm saying? I think that's more so the case. Now, is that to say that it's like you know, niggas be in unhealthy relationships, and I don't think that's like I don't think that's a criticism. Like, if you're in an unhealthy relationship, then and then you've been in multiple unhealthy relationships, maybe it's not like black women. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe you don't have good relationship skills or something like that, or like it could be something else. Like, if you always seemingly in these unfit situations. So I just feel like I said, it's a little bit more of a louder minority speaking to like us being at war and shit like that.
Got it. Real.
yeah, work on that.
I ain't gonna lie. I like to think I like to think that what G was just saying was true. I would love for it to be the case. I would say most of the dudes I know is going through hell with their old lady. She talked to him like shit from time to time. You know what I mean? Like, it's just very normal. Like, I see,
yeah, that's crazy.
On average, like, I got some onesie twosies that, but of course, the onesie and twosie, they you tend not to see a lot of their relationship experience in front of, you know what I mean, in front of your eyes. So, which is good, but like for the majority that I've seen, and like even like growing up, like,
Hey,
that
but Rick,
shit. Go ahead.
are you like putting that to the fact that these are black people, or is that just like something that happens amongst like all relationships as well? But like,
Oh yeah, I mean, I believe it happened in all. It could happen in, you know what I mean, other. I can only speak from the black experience because I've only been black, and I've been in the predominantly black spaces my entire life. So I can't really speak for anybody else's relationships.
and speaking on like just the interracial part about it, these I imagine most of these people, even like if they in their bad relationships, they're usually gonna go and get with somebody black the next time too. For the most part, like I don't usually see people like crash out or go through like a really bad breakup and then just switch races all the time. Usually that's something that you're already like into, or it's something that you all for the most part. Like if you're gonna do it, you've done it. For the most part, your relationship status don't really like affect what ratio or what you're gonna do the next time. At least that's
Man,
what
I'd agree. I'd agree.
So
Most dudes that date outside of their race, they already was dating outside of their race previously in their life. It may not been the same, you know what I mean?
And I guess I also
ethnicity,
don't.
but
I also don't know them to have like upstanding white women that just cooperate and do good.
Oh, I do.
Just the guys that I know that
Oh, thank you.
have been dated. Like,
Thank you. There's a hell of a stereotype to say that black men who do that are date women who aren't cooperative, because the ones that I know, they pretty much, I mean, they within reason, they get away with pretty much anything. They're not nagged about nothing. Like, I'm not saying the grass is like greener, but we're not going to, I don't want to sit here and say that. I'm not trying to sit here and then say that the black men who are in those situations, they're just automatically not happy. Like, it sounds like that's kind of what
oh no,
you're
not
doing.
saying that. I guess I'm saying that from just the few that I've seen,
land the whole
Very
those
anecdotal.
Caucasian, yes, for sure, anecdotal. I think that
Extremely anecdotal.
imagine you saying that all the white guys, all the black guys that that date white women allowed their white women allowed them to cheat on you. That's
didn't say that.
extremely anecdotal as well.
Did I
And they
say
get
that?
away with any. Yeah, you said they get away with anything. Previously, you also said that they all get the hall pass. You said that. But that's extremely anecdotal. We're literally only talking about anecdotes at this moment, right? Your example was an anecdote. So I was giving like another anecdote. I think he froze, yeah.
that's a funny ass face to freeze in. Can't hear you, G.
Yeah, G, we can't hear you.
I really thought that nigga was waiting to respond too. Like,
yeah, he's sitting up there waiting on this nigga.
Yeah,
I think.
Shout out to the anecdotes.
I didn't say what y'all putting on me. Like I would never say that.
You just rewinded. You just said it.
Especially, I wouldn't say anything like that on like a public setting. If I would joke around with some homies in the chat, and then in confidence, and then we get on live, and then people come out and say stuff, and I did not just say, I don't know what.
So you didn't just say that all the black guys that they have white women get away with anything. You
No,
just said that on the show.
Reason. I said within reason. You just said, then you translated that they get to cheat.
Gotcha.
That's what you said. I did not say that.
Okay, when somebody says get away with anything, that's typically what I
within
think.
reason. You take him out. I said within reason. I specifically said within reason.
Listen, I ain't even trying to argue the point. Like,
but that's not the argument. That's what I said.
It depends on what your bank account say. Like you might be.
Listen, my only point was that's an anecdote. Like, I don't like if they're not cheating them, that's good for them. I don't care about it. My point is that
misquote me, bro.
That would be. I'm not.
All
right, Trey. Like, okay. This would be you like
questions that Trey got.
Grabbing like anything.
Okay, that's an important distinction to make. I did not say my homies out here cheating on the podcast. Bro, come on. Because they're not.
That man been media trained, bro. We got my dog media trained.
That nigga done got that text message.
I did not say
that. Because they're not.
Yeah, because they're not.
Okay. So I wonder what was the point that you was making when you were saying all those things.
Oh, that's hilarious.
The point was
those guys get away with like kind of like the same things as
clearly don't get away with everything.
I mean, I think you took that and you ran with it.
I'm asking for clarification now. Then,
I think
what could you have been meaning if we were just talking about, yeah,
man, I'm not over here trying to say the grass is like greener like that either. My whole point and my position that I'm taking is that I'm not going to gaslight and ignore the problem. The reason these black men are not dating other races or dating non-black women because they just feel like doing that. A lot of them they have an issue with the dynamics that's out of whack in our community with the gynocracy and the matriarchy and all that. And the ones they deal with, they are the furthest from gynocratic, and they don't even have any of these liberal, um, this feminist mentality either. And I think a lot of the women in our community, we since Gloria Streisand and that whole thing we were talking about the feminist movement being invested in our community, going to Sojourner Truth, who was fighting against Frederick Douglass, who was trying to get black men having the right to vote. She said that if black men get the right to vote and black women don't, it'd be worse than slavery. And then like how the
And just making
heroes,
sure, and so you're just making sure you don't think that Becky or Karen
I didn't say
are
that. You're doing like a not
well,
all situation.
you
I never said
you
not
didn't
all.
even allow me to
You just said
finish
I don't think
finish
Becky or Karen. Okay, answer. I can tell you the answers. That's not what I said, but I didn't mean to cut you off. I didn't say all though.
I wasn't quoting anything that you said. I was asking a question to get clarification. Right now, you're being like hyper defensive. What I'm asking you is, do you believe that Becky and Karen, in majority, are also feminists?
Not at the rate that we have feminism in our community. I think
So
feminism
feminism
is
is
our
like more of
culture.
a black woman thing.
Karen is definitely a feminist usually.
I'm talking about
Well,
as
most
a percentage wise. I
feminists are
think
white women, but
if you talk about like because they with their population and all that, but I think we have a taking to our community where we elevate black women, we elevate the women in our culture versus these other cultures, they do not treat women nearly as good as foundational black Americans treat them. We never had like child brides, we never had forced marriage, we never had the forced female circumcisions, we never had a safe place where you can just beat on women. Like this whole color purple um, boogeyman situation, that's BS. And then even when you talk about the elevated like the child SA, that happens more in other communities too. But black men get this weird rap, and I think it's because we kind of like we have an entitlement issue in our community that comes with they're expected to have a gynocracy and be treated as such, whereas these other cultures they don't. I think they're more like cooperative with their men because the men don't put up with it.
So you're advocating us to treat black women worse?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying treat them like I think black women want us to take control. I
Mm.
think if we ask them, they'll say that they don't want us to. But I think if we're like, nah, we're about to go fight these, suspected white supremacists right now, baby, you coming? She'd be like, no. Like she want us to go handle that. If she wants us to make a decision to go fight them, she wants us to take the lead. But we're just over here we're like conditioned to, to get more opinion, get more advice in our matriarchal situation to where I think that has been to our detriment.
gotcha. I guess I just don't know of Brad today having like a strong arm when his woman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Karen went crazy. Becky and
Oh,
Karen go crazy.
then why
I like
why
all metrics. Like they get divorced the same rates, pretty
why they
much.
ain't
Like,
vote for
Them boys
Hillary?
be riding around after work, not wanting to go
yeah,
home and
she
shit.
be on the internet complaining about that nigga
Yeah,
all the
that,
time.
But then she gets in line when
Like,
it's
Motherfucker
time. She
motherfucker be
gets in
hanging out with
line,
the 25-year-old at
she
work
be
because
out
he's
there.
scared of his wife.
but she gets
They
in
be at
line when it's
bars
time.
hanging with the FBAs.
But they get in line when it's time to get against us.
That's
I mean,
I don't know how those are like.
I've seen crazy white women too. I mean,
I think they
like,
get in line, man. Like
Yeah,
more so than
definitely
we do.
getting divorced and taking all of this shit and the child support, they going through all of that shit too.
So why do you
Yeah,
think
All
it is
of
the
that shit
divorce?
for sure.
Why is the divorce rate higher in our community then?
but it's not by like a large percentage.
I mean, look at the demographics again,
No.
because it was significant. But again, I think again,
I think
my
like
purpose
America, we
here.
get one out of two gonna get divorced.
But my purpose, I'm looking at the demographic because I don't think that's accurate. But
Okay.
my purpose here is not to denigrate black women. My purpose here is to say why are these trends going the way they are, and I don't think we're going to fix any of the problems or how things are out of whack by just gaslighting and saying these issues don't exist. And I think a lot of
but
the
Trey,
black
but what
men
we're
that
saying is that a lot of the issues you're pointing out right now, we seeing them in the white communities also. Like there's nothing like specifically unique to black women that you're saying.
I mean, I disagree with that, man. I think there's a reason why like Asian women are married at a higher rate, like almost double the rate of black women, and then white
Yeah, that's
women are
also
married at a higher
American
rate.
culture though, right?
No, I'm talking about in America.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Asian women are married at a higher rate.
Well, I mean, but there's still a cultural difference within like the way that they're raised, the traditions in their home, the culture of their
That's our
home.
problem. Is our
It's
culture.
completely different.
Yeah.
It's the American culture.
Oh,
which
he
we
did
think
not just
that's
say that's
why.
our problem is
Hear
our
that? Y'all
culture.
heard
That's
that?
I
crazy.
know
And
he
we
didn't
sat there
just say
arguing
that.
that shit.
It's crazy.
No, you were talking about education earlier. This is what I'm talking about. But that's a different topic.
Okay.
All right, fellas, let's start running down some of
I'm
Trey's
confused by that. That's not a got you.
questions. I think that he had a video for us to throw to first. So I'm gonna play the video, and yeah, we'll get to these to this conversation. Oh, this is actually fire.
My social media platforms, and I was trying to educate Black women on how they kind of dupe y'all into believing that you're doing better than Black men.
Society puts such a low bar. Ring that bell. Such a low bar for Black men. It is that right. It is. It's low, and such a high bar for Black women that when Black men reach their quote unquote societal bar and they made it, that's where they stop. This is where we stop. So once we go to try to do a meetings of the mind, there's no equally yoked. There is no alignment.
My women who make 6 figures or more than likely will never date a man that works at Burger King. Whereas, and this is where the challenge becomes, because this is what's happening right now, the lopsidedness in the Black community. Black women are graduating from colleges, which in turn will mean that of course there's Black men that are doing well, but if you have more Black women graduating from college, more likely more Black women might do more than financially better than Black men.
Black women are excelling. They're getting accelerated degrees, graduate degrees, doctorate degrees. They're starting businesses. Black women are running circles around men. If Black women are excelling at such an accelerated rate, how do men keep up with that?
I feel genuinely nervous to release this to the public. If you are a
but nonetheless, that was
No, he was about to debunk all that, bro. Don't play the BS and then not play.
Well, I think this is a commercial. I can let me mute the commercial. But I thought you said play the first 90 seconds of it.
No, but he was going to go through how everything that they just said was not true.
Okay.
But if anything, it was just
play the first 90 seconds, or you wanted to play more.
I got you. If you want to, I can debunk all of this if you want to, or he could just go through the stats and save the time, because he's immediately going to do that. And it's like next.
Okay, so you want us to play more?
If you can play a little bit more, you skip like the intro, please.
Because the Pew Research Center says what women read. When I put at the top there, it says what women read. We earn more than men, because the Pew Research Center, they put out a 2022 article that says young women are out earning young men in several cities. But then you read it and you're like, oh, out, in several cities. Well, how many cities are young women out earning young men? And it says several cities, 22 out of the 250 U.S. metropolitan areas, women under 30 years old. That's what they mean by women are out earning men. Okay. And it actually says here in the article, in fact, in 22 of 250 U.S. metropolitan areas, women under the age of 30 earn the same amount as or more than their male counterparts, according to a new Pew Research Center analysis of Census Bureau data. So, like I said, when you read it, you're like, oh man, women kicking our ass. But then you start to read a little bit and you're like, hold on, man, why would they word that like that? Why y'all think they do that?
Is that good?
I mean, that's good. That's good for now. Appreciate it. He debunks the rest of everything too, but it's more along this whole thing where his point is that they pander to Black women and they say negative things about us, and then a lot of them eat that up and then run with it. So a lot of men, they face that audience who has been propagandized with all this false rhetoric, and then instead of dealing with that, there are other people who don't like other races who don't believe that. So I think if we want to talk about why we have this issue with Black men trending more with dating interracially, we have to look at what this brother did, Medium Man, where he's going through these articles and then debunking the facts. so that way we have a level-setted conversation, similar to like what Kevin Samuels was doing.
Yeah, gotcha. I don't think that anybody in here really disagrees with what he was saying. It sounded like though the few women that was speaking were just kind of like had misunderstanding of how to break down stats. I think was it last week we or 2 weeks ago. Black men pretty much across the board they make more than black women. That's kind of what stats say.
And every group of women has more degrees than their men, but they're not online like bragging about it.
Yeah,
Talking
that
about
boss
they're
bitch
better
shit
than.
and all that.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like we have this in our culture, and then black men are running from it. And then instead of talking about this problem with our culture, we just want to demonize the black men who are making the decision based on their circumstances.
Yeah, but doesn't just running and going to get a different set of women instead of actually fixing the problem? Isn't that
They don't want to hear you know what you fix it how.
And the number went down from 87 to 85. They're not running. It dropped by a percentage.
We'll see.
At
Like,
some
that's what
point he
the
said it was
numbers
like
said.
92 as well. At some point but I mean, based on what he was saying, I mean,
what was the
down.
time period? What was the time
And that's what I
period
wanted
that
to know.
those
What was the
stats was
time
from
period?
Trey?
Oh man, I got.
Was that like over like from like 1960 to now, 19?
That's not running.
90 to now. In the past 3 years, it's changed like that. What was like the data set?
Damn. I had when I restarted my computer, it went away.
And,
here
and
it
like,
is. Okay, so,
oh,
go ahead.
look, and you're saying black dudes are running from black women because they're like difficult and they're argumentative, and that's the
I'm
issue?
not saying that.
Or is that what's being said? Is that the issue?
That's what's being said. The data is 2000. This is since 2000. At 2000, it was 92% of black men, and in 2021, it's 85. And then in 2019, it was 86. In 2015, it was 87. It was 87. So I mean, it's trending. Maybe it'll correct itself. Maybe if we just ignore what the causes are, what they say the causes are, it'll just go away. But I don't think that's what's
But that's
gonna
what I'm
happen.
saying. What are they saying the causes are?
They are saying the causes are basically, to sum it up, is the matriarchy and the gynocracy, where in our culture there is a domination where black women have it's like a hyena type of situation where hyenas are led by a matriarchy. The women are in charge. They're bigger than the men. We see a lot of strange being black men with sisters that are bigger than them more than you see the other way around. And then we see like the kids, the women's kids come. And you see the women's kids, they get put above
Black
a
men
lot of the
dating
men.
BBWs in mass, man. That's crazy.
Man, bruh.
No, I mean, I think I agree.
Putting that on black men is crazy.
But like, I don't necessarily like.
I don't know what to say, man, because y'all were just the other week telling me that I should say like 180-pound women should be.
Is that what you're saying? Or are you about to go through one of those misrepresentations that you get really upset that people does?
Oh, it was something because Q was pointing out something saying a woman was like 180 yesterday. What was it?
I'm saying, bro. Like
no, what was the?
I didn't make that up.
No, what was the point?
Like
I just want to make sure that I point out like hypocrisy, right? Sometimes you get upset when we bring up things from previous chats, and then sometimes you just do it willy-nilly, right?
But that wasn't in the group chat though. That was in the open.
No, this wasn't online at all. But
okay,
that's cool also. Yesterday, I think that at a point in time, if we want to get to this, which is like hyper sidebar, men just talking for no reason. Shit, I think that what started off as a dating size preference, where I think that somebody said that they wouldn't date over like 135 or 140 or something like that. 5'2", 135 or something like that. And the conversation between a bunch of guys ended up being, how much does this actress weigh? And what does that look like? So then we're saying 5'4", 160. How tall is Meg Thee Stallion? Oh, she's this tall. She probably weighs this much. This is when we got up to the 180 number. That was the conversation. There wasn't like a selling you on dating somebody that was 180.
I mean, I think it was.
I think the best thing that we did was say that you and Megan Thee Stallion weigh the same.
But we
I think
don't.
that's
though.
what we was arguing
But
about.
she's not 190 because it said she was like 140 something. Like you said, Megan Good also
But
was like
why would you
160,
believe
that's
that
not true
Megan
either.
the Stallion at 5'10" is 140?
Because muscle weighs more than
Ozempic.
fat. So
Okay,
women
so
can
all
be
right, my
my
bad. So
height,
then
if she's
you
not,
would
she
date
can have my muscle
Megan the
density.
Stallion. You said that you wouldn't date over 145, I mean 140, but
Nah.
at 135, that's kind of like your so she's only 5 pounds off, is what you're saying.
I mean, I wouldn't date Megan for plenty of other reasons beyond
But
that.
body wise, just body wise, you think that she's inside like the shape and the scope and the BMI of what you'll be interested in, or 5 pounds off? You know the shit is like she's not 140. It doesn't even make sense, bro.
She would definitely be pushing it. I'm not. Yeah, she's not my type, and I think a lot of men want more of a petite, feminine woman.
But if she's 140,
fit.
How much does Ariana Grande weigh?
Mari, I don't know. She like she's been on that stuff. Shit, she probably like 100 pounds.
So you want 100-pound women now?
Nah. I would say more like a what do they call it? What's her name? What's her name? She used to be on Cousin Skeeter way back in Megan Good. Yeah, I think her shape is like, you can ride with that.
Yeah, like I don't think niggas are about to argue over like.
Disagree with that one.
Like we about to, I don't think niggas is about to argue over like.
That was the thing you said all night.
I don't think she on 160. 170.
No, she ain't no 160.
Megan, I have to know how tall she is. She probably like 145, 150 probably.
I doubt that.
How old is she? Like 140? Look at her arms.
She like 5'3".
But wait, my bad. We're doing like this. Let's actually get back to like
Megan Good's not non-NBA, is she?
Grande though.
But nonetheless, fellas, I think the question was, are there any issues within the gender dynamics in the Black community? And if so, what do we do about it? Point one, are Black men's grievances justified? And if so, how do we negotiate if we are unwilling to walk away? Fellas.
Man, I think when you are, I think women are a reflection of the men that they are with. That's my honest opinion. And so if
not their upbringing though, so it's bruh fault.
That's what I'm saying, bro. If she's still my reflection.
If she with me, that's what, exactly. Like at the end of the day, if you're in a relationship with her and you continue to be in a relationship with her when she's unruly and not respectful and all these things, you're a simp ass nigga. That's what you are. And that's what the problem is a lot of niggas out here allow women to get away with shit that they need to just nip in the bud and have real boundaries. Like, nah, you did this. I'm the prize. I'm out of here. But what niggas do is anything to get the pussy, to make her think that she's so special, they'll do anything. We know this too. They'll say whatever. They'll do whatever they do to get the pussy. Once they get the pussy, then it's like, all right, what's next? And now, bitch, then flip the crazy switch. Now she's like, oh, this nigga then did all this stuff. Now he don't want to do it. It's like once I'm saying, the woman is gonna reflect based off of the man she's with. So, in my opinion, that's the thing that need to be fixed. The Black men have to really understand how, like you said that they want us to control, but yet you don't want to take accountability for the lack of control.
No, I'll take that back, bro. I don't disagree with what you're saying. I think that's a fair point. So, yeah, I think that we have too many sexual scavengers in our community who put up with anything just to get the draws. And I think we have done a lot of enabling that has created this problem that now I'm talking about how do we fix it. That's why the second part of that question is if you're unwilling to walk away, then how do you negotiate? And that's kind of what you're hitting on there, because these men are unwilling to walk away because they just want to get the draws.
But Trey,
or they codependent on the relationship for other reasons. Because a lot of niggas will lay that down to make sure they got something to eat, got somewhere to sleep that night. Like it's if it's not for the draws, it's for survival. Like niggas will do what they gotta do, no question.
And I think it's more the survival than it is the draws. It's like once you already done hit, like you know what I mean. It's not that big a fucking deal. Niggas ain't just standing around because they have. I don't know too many dudes that hurt off. You know what I mean? Hurt off hard off for having. You know what I mean? For sex, like niggas usually stand around because of the need. You know what I mean? Niggas need a place to stay, need to use the car, need some kind of financial assistance type of shit. That's
that
probably
credit.
Why he's standing in that
needed
situation.
a sign off so he could get something.
Yeah, like it becoming like a lot of the times you'll see the dudes that ain't in a financial situation to like actually stand on a foundation. Those be the ones that be going through the worst.
So why do they have access? But why do they have access to why are these women choosing men who need their car, need their place?
Because women like the power dynamic as well. So like to me, and I was thinking about this. I believe that it's like how they say like the whole. I don't want to use the word toxic, but let's say the toxic man that makes the money, he likes to have a woman that needs him, right? It's the same thing on the other side too. Even though she gonna talk shit about him, they like being able to run a man and be able to put the nigga out on the 13th of every month and then bring him back. You know what I mean? They like to have that power dynamic as well.
But you also can't have it both ways, where it's like, why are women choosing niggas without cars, but then be like, why don't women give like regular niggas a chance? It's like. It's like it can't be both things. It's like
but a regular nigga at our age should have a car.
Look, I'm not disagreeing, but
I think that's the example, not the point. I think he's just saying it can't be a complaint that women aren't reaching down and dating regular guys, and that they're also dating regular guys.
But that's not regular.
But they shouldn't have to reach down to date regular guys. Like regular guys.
All right, so,
regular
if you don't like the verbiage of what I'm saying, I'm still just talking to the point. He's saying that the complaint goes both ways. That can't make sense.
I'm trying to clarify, bro. The regular guys have cars.
You're stuck on that example, and he's not meaning specifically.
And we're in North Carolina, so like if we outside of North Carolina, that's not always the case. Where working professional adults just by default have a car. Like you can be in DC, fly as fuck without a whip. You could be in New York, fly as shit without a whip. Like plenty of places where you don't. Like in North Carolina, yeah, if you don't have a car, people are looking at you like because you need a car to really like thrive out here. It's very tough to thrive off public transportation. But
man, it sounds like you're saying that these men don't have. Like these are their only options. Like I think there are men who may not have the same swag or whatever, or they may not like. We've seen a balloon pop challenge where dudes will come on and get rejected, and then they'll choose a man who they can have power over. And then like one video I showed you, he got rejected by all the sisters, and the white woman was like, "Oh, I'll rock with you," and then he went with the white lady. Is he off code for that?
No, that one was mad funny. And if you're in a situation where you go down a whole line of like women, and then the white one is at the very end, and all the black women pop their balloon on you and got something bad to say about you, but the white one was like, "Looks great to me." Like, yeah, I don't blame a nigga in a situation like that. Like he's still off code, but that don't mean he an off code nigga. That's all I'm saying. Like the behavior is off code. It is what it is, but circumstances. The circumstances do matter.
So black women get first right of refusal.
No, I'm not saying that at all, bro.
But I don't think y'all addressed like G's actual point that he was making.
Trey's question.
Oh, good.
Because Trey said like if we're not willing to negotiate, the one thing, can't we just change like the black women that we glorify? Like, and can't we just like
you could
put
just
the
choose
better examples up there? Because a lot of these men, like I said earlier, a lot of these men that end up going through the hell, they not choosing, like they not running from black women. They just choosing the same type of black woman.
What about Cooking with Kaya?
Same type of person. Don't watch it.
No, I'm saying it wasn't Cooking with Kaya a woman who was like, she was feminine. She was just do a little twerking, but nothing like, she wasn't going like too crazy with it. And she was just talking about like cooking and being feminine.
But you think that's all that come with Cooking with Kaya? You ain't see Cooking with Kaya when she pissed off. But you think,
But I'm
how you
saying
think?
black men didn't see that either. They glorified her for her femininity. So this whole narrative that we just like the BBLs and everything, that's not true.
I mean, the ass,
I yet to
the ass
see a
got
cooking with
something.
Kyle video, but I don't
It's
think she
because
was
she twerking. That's
glorified
why
for
you watching it.
femininity.
I think that's what I think she was, because she was just happy to be cooking for her man, looking cute while she did it. And then you see a lot of sisters talk about why I got to be cute when I cook, when they're trying to take her down and everything, because the sisterhood don't want them to do that. And then, I mean, I'm saying like it sounds like I'm joking, but at the end of I think I predict that if we keep gaslighting and then saying that it's just their fault, then you're gonna see more and more black men have, because this is the first generation where black men have really had the option to date outside of black women, because our parents' generation, they would get ostracized publicly, they couldn't go out in public. Now it's you know what I mean, like I think it's a rug pull on black women to now they have to compete. And if we don't let them know that, this competition and everything you do isn't okay, then like that's poor leadership.
You ain't gotta
'Cause
go.
Yeah, but leadership also does not like include abandoning the ship, though, right?
if it
You
depending on how,
can't
if the
dive
ship
off
is
the boat.
sinking, then yeah, if the ship, you can't fix the ship.
So is the black woman ship sinking?
If they don't get off this gynocracy, then yeah.
But like, okay, I don't know.
Like niggas,
You know, I
productive
can
black
agree
men
that
are
there's a
not part of
problem,
that.
but I don't agree with the
But we also
how to
talked about,
that
but we
what you're
also talked
proposing to
about the
fix it.
problem. We also talked a lot of it's socioeconomic. A lot of these are the lower class of dudes where they don't have, choices. A lot of these women are, you know, a lot of dudes are choosing women that they know are going to be toxic. It's all a lot of and allowing, we call it simp behavior. If
The
the dudes are
opposite is
being
true.
simps and,
And the
and
opposite is true as
allowing
well
it,
too.
huh?
I'm
The
saying the
opposite is true
opposite.
as well. Like I think that
Yeah.
like a lot of the women don't want dudes that's like got this whole healed and
They
all of
don't
that
want
shit.
leadership.
They don't want no. It sounds good to want leadership, but I don't believe most of them want leadership just as well as I don't believe that like on average most men know how to lead. Like
Right.
it's a sound good thing. It just
Right.
sounds good. Like I don't believe that most black women actually want a man to lead the house.
And
It just
and
sounds good.
and there's an issue with black leadership at the same time. So we all just fucked up.
But
Oh
how
no, it's
about
pretty
this?
fucked up.
But
Because
the
where are
one,
you learning
yeah.
it from? Where are you learning? Where are you learning to lead from?
And it's easier for some black men who are good leaders if we have a problem in our culture with people, with a lot of our sisters not really, they've never had to be under the black man because we've been in this downtrodden position. But if they go to work, they know how to listen to the boss. And if a black man, rather than have to coach and teach them and do this other stuff, if he can just have that person gets out competed by a person who's willing and receptive to leadership from him, and that she's of another race, then I don't think we can shame that black man into not going with the person that's less combative. He just wants peace. He's not even going to sit on this panel and have a discussion with us. He's just going to go about his business.
And Trey, a
I'm
lot
here
of
because I care.
but Trey, the dudes I'm talking about, a lot of those dudes were already dating white women and different outside their race. There's not not a lot of dudes that are just like running since like 2015. It went from 87 to 15 to 85%.
So at what
It's
point do we
2%
start?
drop off, which isn't like that crazy. And it's not like, oh, all these black dudes are, oh my God, I can't stand these sisters, I'm gonna go get a white woman. Not dudes that are dating, they were already gonna do that. And the
Okay,
dudes
so
that are going through the stuff, they stand with black women. And I think the key is to just pick the better black women and glorify that and marry the ones that do what you want. And the ones that don't, just leave them alone and let them stay doing what they're
nigga,
doing. But that's the
bro,
key to it.
And
I'm
don't
just a
let
nigga in
them
the
others
meantime, bro.
But to
define
go
the
out
whole group.
and to go and just be like, oh, I'm not gonna be with black women at all because these few
That's
are
not
not
what I
doing what
said,
I want to
man.
do.
Let's not
You
use
just
the
said
word
abandon
all.
them. You just said,
No, I said the ones who won't get off this gynocratic behavior. That's
but
the
there's other
sinking
black
ship.
women. But you act like all black women are like that. There's
No, I'm
plenty of black
saying our
women that aren't
culture
on
is
that.
a gynocracy, though. So I'm not blaming black men. It's our fault as men for allowing and enabling this. So,
But
but before I blame the sisters, I blame them. But I don't think the men
I
are.
think I also think you mischaracterizing a lot of black women. Also, I agree with you. There's a few that are problematic, but
I
like
didn't say
Is
black
the
women. I
culture
said
a
black
gynocracy?
culture.
Do y'all
Yes.
believe that the culture is a gynocracy? I've
I
heard him
didn't
say this
I
multiple
didn't
times,
grow
but
up
I
in
don't
no
know if I
gynocracy, Coach Trey.
no, I
You
said, do
didn't.
you believe that
I don't.
black culture at large, the majority of the way that the majority of black households are run this way?
I mean, I guess so. I mean, based on the numbers, you would have to say that because
why is it so tough, bro?
Like, damn, bro.
I didn't grow up like that, so I understand how to move. I didn't grow up in a single
Right.
parent household, so
But
I
we
understand
talk
how
about
not. So,
well, we have a lot of
you didn't
general,
Trey didn't do it.
general statements that don't include us as well. So like,
But
it's just
we're having a question about the leadership. Shouldn't it be the people that had the nuclear family that are leading the way in how to be families and how to and tell black folks how
Damn.
to
Well, I
have
mean, but we
families?
also
Shouldn't it be the people
understand
that
what
came from nuclear families?
I mean.
I got breaking news for y'all, bro. So that stat I said for 85%, that was 2021. I just Googled 2024. Now it says 79%. So I don't know if that shit's true, and we're just gonna sit.
Let me hit the Google.
If we
Yeah,
sit here,
fact check that one. Yeah,
fact check it. But if that's true, if that's true, I just Googled percentage of black men and black women with black spouses 2024, and it said 87% of black women have a black spouse, compared to 79% of black men. This is because black men are more
But
likely to marry
according to
someone
that,
of a
both
different
of them
race
went
or
down then,
ethnicity.
right? So it
They
sounds
both
like
went down. Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah,
that
let's
don't
let
fix the
me
problem though.
and where is that from? Is that AI or is that
That's AI. It's AI. Let me see where this is sourced from. But I don't know, man. What this is from Pew Research.
You don't fuck with them, do you?
The point is with all this, bro, is I'm not trying to be the bad guy. But if this trend continues, if we all want to have more black community, black families, and all the other stuff, and we refuse to even vocalize that we're living in a gynocracy, and then the gynocracy is what's causing the issue, then
But
that's
I've never had
failed
those issues
leadership.
with black women in my personal life. Like I get it, or like even like from the ones that I've like. So to say that they're all problematic, like I haven't had issues that made me not want to deal with
You
black.
know, bro, we had situations in our church where we seen gynocratic women, bro. Like the hen pecking situation, where like trying to keep the boys in check type shit. They go out of their way in our community to have the matron keeping the young Negroes in line, the young Negro men in check.
But you know what happened with a lot of those women in church? They
What?
still unmarried.
Exactly, that's my point.
So they're not getting picked. So but like there are a lot of those women that are getting married that have gotten married and stuff. So
Yeah, but he's talking about trying to fix the problem so that we can boost that number and stop the number from going down and have it going back the other way. So there has to be a character and a cultural shift to actually make this nuclear family thing back like as a norm.
We have outgrown the gynocracy as black men, bro.
No, I 100% agree.
And more of us, as we're not in this, we call him boy and all this stuff no more. But we have to allow. We can't protect them as we grow and become more like we take more charge. We get these more jobs, making more money, getting all these other positions. We're not going to want to go home and be in a gynocracy. And if a non-black woman doesn't want no parts of a gynocracy either, the black man's going to go with a non-black woman, not because he don't like black women, but because he's like me. I love black women, but I hate the gynocracy.
So have you lived and dealt with the gynocracy, like from your family point of view?
I'm not getting into my personal family
or
and everything like that.
anything. Like, but why do you feel that way? Because I haven't experienced it growing up. Like I don't feel like the women ran stuff around. I feel like they were great men in my life that were leaders and held stuff down way more than the women. So I don't understand the sentiment personally.
Well, I'm not, if I did experience that, I'm not gonna discuss that in some like family business on a public platform.
Yeah, I mean, well, I was born. My mom, I was born into a single mom. Like, you know what I mean. And so was everybody in my fucking neighborhood growing up. And that whole neighborhood, of course, is a gynocracy. The whole thing, all of the kids, everything, like shit.
But there's
the
a lot
whole
of single
thing.
mothers and stuff. Like I get it from that perspective, and from where you're from, I get it. But y'all call me Suburban Johnny all the time, and I get mischaracterized because I'm not from that. And me not being from that, I see it differently.
You didn't see no gynocracy?
No.
Keith ain't had no person in his house that was running it. That was not
I mean,
a man.
you talking about after his grandfather died, and there was a vacuum and leadership in that family. I don't want to put the man business out there, but like you said, but like there was a reason that happened.
There are reasons for all this stuff. You want to get into there, but the fact remains, it is what it is. It's a gynocracy. We can blame some of this on mass incarceration. We can blame some of this on
Trey, that's
government assistance.
if you want to go around the block over here, that was just one family. Like most of the families over here wasn't like that. That's the exception to the rule you speaking of.
But we're not talking about all, bro. I think in our community,
to
the fault of our black women, I would say, I think they were baited kind of like to eat the poison fruit. But a lot of them chose to do that, and then we weren't able to prevent them from doing that. And then when they did do that, we just coddled the behavior, and now we're in this position now to where even if you even question it or say that there's a problem, then you're ostracized and you're accused of hating women.
You talk
And
about
that's not how you
it's
fix
definitely
problems.
been generational too. Like you can literally see how it was passed down, and then the entertainment that we choose to put in front of ourselves, and the way that they talk, bro. It's quite obvious that I don't see where it's really like so much of a debate about like the gynocracy and matriarch. Like that is the way that, you know what I mean, the big mama's house and like all of this shit. We've kind of been shown time and time again that like situations where the black man don't run the house, like, or don't run anything. Shit, like even if he in the house, he ain't running nothing.
It's by design.
He's literally in the house, in the damn room in the back, just watching TV, and then you know what I mean.
But we also talked about our granddaddies having side families too. How you not running stuff, but you was having side families.
I mean, but damn, John, what does that have to do with what we talking about though?
Yeah,
that's running. That's not gynocracy. That's patriarchy.
Granddaddy.
That means you just getting some ass, Johnny.
Get into that.
You won't run nothing just because you getting some ass.
So okay. If you have two whole families, that's not.
So just because you get some ass over here and some ass over there, don't mean you run either of those houses.
It really doesn't.
It's not like that nigga signing up for hell then.
Oh, damn! He's signing up for
like,
hell.
why would you do that if you're not running the house? Like, what are you out talking about? The only people that can do that.
That nigga going across the street to get yelled at too. That's crazy.
So what you saying is that when you were much broker, when you were
yelled at on Tuesday.
Well, I'm saying, but when you were much broker, you don't think that you made much worse decisions as to who you was going to lay down with?
Yeah,
once you start to gain something to lose, you start valuing your assets and the shit you don't work for. Then you start to kind of make a little bit of a different decision.
Right.
Usually it'll be a bunch of broke niggas running around cheating with a whole bunch of women, bro.
Straight up.
Or it could be preachers.
And I'm not talking about like, I ain't talking about at the highest level. I'm talking about on the average level. I'm talking about on like on the average level. It'd be a bunch of dudes that.
Bro, I know some dudes that's not preachers and none of that stuff. And then, or I know some females that they said that they have like double-digit siblings with the same dude. And that dude is not like a pillar of society or anything like that. And he's not running any of those households either. So that's not an evidence of there not being a gynocracy just because he gets selected by women who, you know, like G was saying earlier, some people pick these people because they want to run them. And the men, they just want to, they're thinking with their other head. That's why I said in the beginning that this is our fault as men. But at the same time, if the majority of us aren't even married and don't even have kids, then like what do? The biggest demographics in our community are black women with kids and black men without them. And then there are other, now you mix that with having access and you're no longer a captive audience anymore. And then it's 1 + 1 is going to equal 2. And we're going to have
that's not true. You said the biggest demographic in our community is black women with kids.
Yeah.
And so there's more black women with kids than without kids, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Percentage wise.
Yes.
Send me that. I'm pretty sure I've looked that up, and that's not like
women percentage.
Yeah, we just recently looked that up too. But I was wrong. I said the same shit Trey said. I was wrong.
Let me look this up. I got it up here.
But I guess what it sounds like, maybe the middle ground of what y'all are saying is that there is a bunch of single mom or single parent homes that has ran rampant inside the black community over an extended period of time. And inside that framing, that in itself would be, whether you want to say gynocratic, matriarchal, whatever word you want to use. I think that what Johnny is saying is that in houses where there is men, there is a order that still exists within that, in his opinion.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, right.
What you talking about?
I don't think that's what he's talking about.
That's not what I was speaking at all. I was talking about
like what you know how that
y'all act like black leadership don't exist, and you like all like men that are all black dudes that are with black women are simping and they running all over them.
And now you just going extreme with it. We're just saying,
bro. You always say all, bro. Nobody's ever.
That's how y'all paint it out, though. When I'm speaking of
when you say y'all, when you say all, that's the emotional response.
I was trying to speak to something to the opposite, and y'all ain't want to hear that either. But
I think that what Johnny is saying is so he believes that the majority of black households that have black men, that's two-parent married households, the majority of them are ran from the man down. I think that's what he's saying. Are y'all saying that? Are y'all saying that the majority is ran happy wife, happy life?
I can't say because I haven't seen it enough to really give a gauge on it. I haven't seen enough two-parent black male and female with the children being in there. I haven't seen it enough times for me to be like, oh yeah, that they are doing it. Now I haven't seen it. Like I got a handpicked couple people that I know growing up where I seen that they was like in a two-parent house. I didn't really like that wasn't my, you know what I mean, my experience.
And I'm guessing like Johnny's appealing to the fact that he has, and that's what he's speaking directly to.
I found the stat if y'all want to hear it. Because
I'll put it in the chat too, so we can look at it.
It's on the page if you just Google black men / women fertility, but it's let me just get it. It's because I need to add the caveat that it's saying black women ages 15 to 49 and black men who are 40 and black men and women ages 40 to 49 had a biolog. Oh, it's talking about black men and women between the ages of 15 to 49 years old. To sum it up, so.
Okay, send it in the send it in the chat.
I got you.
As you do that, I guess did we come to a consensus about we spurred off into a gynocracy, matriarchy, black community conversation. I think what it was based around though was still, should black men be willing to walk away from the black woman? What was the answer to that? I guess.
What else do you do if a person's not willing to be led? But I'm saying if she's not willing to be led,
I think that maybe Real asked this earlier. Would that not be where real leadership starts to take hold?
Some people aren't able. I think part of being a good leader is understanding that some people are not going to be receptive to leadership.
But then wouldn't you just, in Johnny's words, you would find the black woman and glorify that black woman that's willing to be led and lead that black woman?
I think a lot of those are not single. I think a lot of those are get.
So you think that it's hard to find a good black woman?
I'm not saying those words. I think it's hard to find a non-gynocratic black woman. Good is subjective. I think all black women are good because I love myself, so I must love my counterpart. But I think there's a rampant gynocracy in our culture, and that's the problem.
Okay, and so in essence, you're saying that should be willing to walk away because of the crop of women that fit the criteria, black women that fit the criteria in which you're looking for, is slim.
This is me just throwing up my hands. I don't know how else we fix the gynocracy. If y'all have a better suggestion, then let me know. But I don't think you can talk them into it while still being unwilling to walk away. Because it's like, why would they change if you're not going nowhere and they understand that?
But again, Johnny, let me know if I'm misrepresenting you. I think
Johnny
saying
they. You can't. It's a singular situation. One you and one woman. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you walk away from her, then you just get another one.
There's a lot of them.
Don't work.
And they all not the same. They not like one model.
That's like black women saying that they don't want to deal with black men because niggas be broke.
But that's not true though.
Like they can literally use whatever. What I'm saying is, but whatever that thing is that they're saying is, if they were to say, "Oh, we gonna stop dating black men because they're whatever,"
well,
that would be the same thing.
There's two problems with that. First off, that's not accurate. Second off,
but I didn't use a thing though.
Second off, where are they gonna go? You think Brad's like pushing each other out of the way to go deal with the gynocracy?
No, I don't. I understand what you're saying.
Hold on.
I understand what you're saying.
He said, "Is Brad's pushing themselves out the way to deal with the gynocracy?"
Are they like fighting with each other? Be like, nah, if y'all don't want the gynocracy, black man.
All right, so you are. So you're stepping away from the stance that Brad does date and have babies with.
But he's not marrying them.
Not marrying, but he is entertaining and having like 18-year contracts with them.
Yes, he's messing with
So
them
they
and
are
sending them back to
running
us.
over each other to entertain and take 18-year
Not
contracts.
to marry them,
And he
bro.
going to marry, and he going to marrying that Becky that done been with the black dude, and he gonna forget, be all of that. Like they go through their own issues with their women too. Like the
And I be hell.
gynocracy, the
At least
gynocracy thing
That's what
is
I
an
said.
American thing because feminism
It's
is an
still
American
it's
thing.
not
That's
an
coming out.
American
But
thing.
the
It's a black
feminism
culture.
also is led by white women. Like if you go to
it,
any of
but
the marches, if you go to any of the organizations, if you go in, like it's led primarily by white
But
women.
I think you're
They're
gaslighting, bro. We know about Gloria Steinem, and
all right,
she worked for the CIA to
but
push
you're but
feminism
now
on the
you're talking
black
about like
community to
one
get rid of
black
the civil
woman.
rights movement.
But
No,
you
the
but you're talking.
Sojourner Truth, Maya Angelou. I didn't. No, not IDB.
But
What
then
was
if
it?
No,
if you
I'm
go,
literally talking about how white women act. Like fuck.
yeah, but right now you're pointing out like these ones over decades
onesies and twosies is my boy.
where the entire feminist movement is ran by white women though.
So you're saying
And
that
every
we
once
don't.
in a while there'll be a black woman that you're pointing out that is going along like a Sojourner Truth that made a statement. But overall, like them white women was doing their feminist thing.
So you're saying black women, we don't have a
I'm not saying that they're not
feminist
feminists. I'm just
skew.
saying the majority of feminists are white women.
Okay,
see,
because
there's a
they have a
difference.
higher
See, Trey,
population.
there's a difference between like the feminist movement, like the people in marching and that speak loud, but we
Yeah.
still have it's still our lifestyle and culture is not like we don't call like these black women feminists.
I feel you.
He's talking about the actual feminist movement versus like
Oh no, but I'm
the
also talking about
culture
like
of
ideologies and all that. Like you have to remember the entire red pill space. Like the red pill is not a black space.
Steve just said
It's about men complaining about the status of modern women today, not black women, not black modern women, modern women, and their
general,
feminist tendencies. Is not specified to a race. They're
I
complaining,
disagree.
and the biggest creators are white men. That's all making these complaints.
I disagree. I think it's how they say when black men get the
With
flu.
what? Okay.
When black people get a cold, black people get the flu. I think the red pill community is just white men getting a small taste of what black men have been dealing with our entire existence under in this society as Americans.
But their complaints are the exact same. Though. That's the only point that I'm making.
But they're new to them. They're not accustomed to this. I'm saying we've been dealing with this the whole time. So you're not because I'm saying you're not going. You can't point at the red pill and then say that they're dealing with it too. Okay, they're dealing with it too. But I think it's not.
Well, you were specifying it as if black women were just the problem, and Becky wasn't doing this thing too.
I don't even
My
want to
point
just
is
put it
that, like,
on
if you
Becky,
have
bro.
an issue with modern women, then it's just the issue with how modern women. But
no,
Becky isn't any better. That's why the passport bro thing is because they just say Western women is trash,
So
not
y'all
like
gonna-
black Western women. It's all Western women.
So
that's
you
what
don't
that
think-
that whole concept is based off of,
So
right?
there's not a particular issue with gynocracy in the black community. That's what you're standing on. You just we're not. The black man's always
that wasn't
been
a
in charge.
stance, and
I'm asking.
that wasn't where we were just at in the conversation.
No, because you're talking about what's going on in the white community, but I'm talking about we have it worse over here in the black community, and you're saying that it's across.
I think that
the board,
again, if we're using the
same?
words of like how modern women act, I don't think white women are acting much different than black women. That's and the white men complaining are the proof that I'm saying that. By.
So
like
why
they're
do you
complaining about Becky also on really large platforms, and Becky's trying to cancel those guys.
And I think, but I mean, we do have some additional layers too, though. We got some additional.
Of course, like
layers.
I think that every race group will probably have different layers, but my main issue is just that
they having problems.
Becky is cutting up too,
No,
and
for sure.
they men is outside complaining loudly about it.
Absolutely.
Like Rolos, Tomas,
they are.
like all, and that's
Becky's
like
cutting up too.
Right. That's my point. I wouldn't put that just on black.
point,
like if we're putting gynocracy, I wouldn't put that specifically, or matriarchy or feminism when we just use these specific words. If your issue is modern women, that's transparent across the board. Black men ain't gonna leave black women unless you're going passport bro-ish. If they stay westernized, they're still gonna exhibit a lot of the exact same things because of all Western men are complaining about the same thing.
Hank, so you really don't think the black community has a higher prevalence of gynocrats than other communities? You think it's the same across
Again,
the board?
if we're defining the fact that more black families are single parent families, then yes, it would be more because of the way, like when we go down the line of why that is and why it's constructed. But yes, I think that like that would be something that you wouldn't really debate because of the way that if you're talking about like a structure, matriarchal structure, gynocratic structure, because of there's more single black families, so that makes sense. Do I think that the women inside like black, white, whatever, I think that they all act very similar. There's nobody that's like these trad kind women in mass that's running around here. And every man that gets on the internet of all cultures all make this exact same complaint. That's my point. I think Trey is
Oh, he froze.
Yeah.
He always get froze when he confused. And that shit is hilarious.
This shit look hilarious, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, he back.
Yeah, no, I think
He
like
finna be mad
the
as
thing
hell.
is I don't disagree about the gynocracy. You know what I mean? I think that they have a bit of a different problem. It just manifests itself in a different way within their culture than it does in ours. So yeah, they'll have some different layers. Some of the things that we complain about, like, you know what I mean? I think that we have some additional things that just are I mean, because the cultures, even though we have American culture, there's also the subset of like the white American, black American. You know what I mean? So like you're gonna have some additional layers and things that are more prevalent on one side than the other. But I don't see like the white women like boss bitch and all that shit, which I think is an additional layer that kind of is very like
y'all don't see white women, bro.
Then why do you think it is that
like y'all don't
those
see
people
those are the women that they get most of the boss like women like
yeah,
spots.
like when you went to the stickers, like Boss Babe, that's not a
no. But I'm talking about
you're right.
No.
Boss
What I'm
Babe,
talking
that's
about,
the white
what I'm
bitch.
talking about is just like your everyday. I'm not an actual boss. Like I'm talking about just the culture
girls
of the
don't be
boss.
No, but
shit.
when he's talking like the boss babe thing, like that's not a like that's
The
a
white
white
girl
woman
sticker.
movement.
So it's black women saying period. I mean, white women saying period. I said what I said, and I don't need no man. That's typically white women.
No, I don't think that they would talk like
They don't
black
say
women.
they don't say it exactly like that, but they be like, "Newsflash, buddy, I'm out of here." So
But then,
they'll hit them dudes with something like that.
bro,
Like,
they talk that big game, then they go vote for Trump, or they don't vote for Hillary.
look at the
Black women
divorce
voted
rate.
for Kamala at a
What
higher rate.
what are divorce rates in the white community? They leaving their husbands too.
You're taking everything. Just
Yeah, like so,
when
like they leaving their husbands
real, bro.
too. Like they
Niggas been wearing L's.
and ain't gonna make them pay alimony. $4,000 ain't gonna put them on alimony.
Ass.
Like so, like to say they got stuff to lose. A lot of times, black dudes you know, yeah, a lot of times it be an apartment, a laptop, and the dog. They be
Come on, don't do us like that, dog.
Look at he froze again. Look at
Yeah, nah. Trey got internet issues today. But
it's the Pan Africans, bro. They
G, chime in before we move to the next statement. Got another Trey video.
Yeah, man. Like I said, with the gynocracy thing, I just feel like I said, man, it's really on us. If it's like I don't think the answer is to abort the mission and leave people behind. You know what I'm saying? So like don't let your experience with a handful of people like make you think that's how all the group of people are. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of where I stand on it.
Got it.
Kofi said the ancestors kicking Trey off.
He ain't gonna like that one. He gonna come back and hit.
He gonna hit the he gonna hit him in the chat.
He gonna come back in hot off that one.
All right, so this is Trey's question. Hopefully Trey will be it sounds like he just popped back in. Do we have double standards when it comes to interracial dating? This is a clip that he sent them.
That boy from LSU.
White girls are with black dudes. That's What's your unpopular opinion?
Whenever white girls are with black dudes, that pisses me off. Why are you with her and not with me? Literally, like that's what I'm saying.
Hey, what do you think about interracial relationships?
It's okay for like a black girl to mess with a white guy, but not the same thing for a black guy to mess with a white girl.
Hey, how do you feel about interracial relationships?
White women, if they date a black man, dead wrong. But if a black woman find her a rich white man, right on, sister. Black power.
What do you think about interracial relationships?
I think that black men should be with black women. I don't see why you wouldn't want to be.
Hey, what's your unpopular opinion?
Black men belong with black women.
Hey, what's your unpopular opinion?
All of the men who are snow bunnies, they have mommy issues.
Why do you say that?
Because like all half the men here are snow bunnies. Like, go back to your roots. Your mom's black, your sister's black. Like, your mother is a black woman. So for you not to like black women, there's something wrong right there. You were surrounded by black women, your aunties, your mommies.
When black girls do it because they genuinely like them, and I feel like when black boys do it, it's just because they're comparing them to black people.
There's a disconnect. You want to just say that.
When black girls mess with white guys, it's because like,
What
oh,
is
they like
kids?
this. But whenever it's a white girl, oh, I like snow bunnies, like it's a fetish. When black girls and white boys, it's genuine.
What's your unpopular opinion?
White men are better than black men.
Why do you say that?
They all that.
The Trey algorithm is crazy.
But no, this is a college campus. These are like 18, 19-year-olds.
Yeah, they are. It sounded like, but it also sounded like, what was it like? Was it 4-3? I want to say 4 of them were saying black men and black women should be together. You had one that said black men is trash, and then you had them 2 girls that was saying the hypocrisy part, where if black women do it, then it's black women's. If black women do it, they do it for love. If black men do it, it's a fetish or some shit like that. Of course, Trey dropped back off. But fellas, I'll talk to y'all. Do we have a double standard when it comes to interracial dating?
I mean, I don't think there's no. I mean, it's not a. I think no matter who you are, if you do it, there's going to be a certain level of pushback.
Some side eyes.
There's going to be some side eyes. It's going to be. No, I wouldn't say there's a double standard. It might be a little different depending on like socioeconomic stuff that might change how people look at it or approval ratings. But regardless, and the same goes because I was having a conversation with a Hispanic homie. Same goes in their community. If they pull up with a black chick, abuela gonna have an issue with it. Muy problema, hijo. That's what they gonna tell them. And so like they have an issue with it in their community. So like men and women. So I think it's gonna be the same. It's a matter of who you're around and like their approval. But and there's always gonna be some hypocrites. It's gonna be some black dudes that's okay with it, but mad when white women do it, and vice versa. But for the most part, I think it balances itself out.
I do think that from a like public facing perspective, when you're like, you know, in the news or whatever the case, I do think black men get more smoke for being with white girls than black girls get smoke for being with white guys. So I think if we say that's a double standard, then okay. Like, then I would say, yeah, I think the black men who date white women get more of the scrutiny and more of like the, how could you do this? You leaving sisters behind. And the black women do when they go get a white man, like, you know, Eve was going viral for her Christmas photo or some shit like that with her husband and the family and all that stuff. So I will agree that for whatever reason, it seems that people can find ways to like champion when black women somehow like quote unquote find happiness with a white man, but they won't do the same if the shoe's on the other foot, if it's a black man. So I will say that. But for me personally, everybody getting lashes.
I do got a observation that I've seen recently that y'all might not agree with, but not all black women, when they get with a white dude, be getting with the Ken doll, the Brad. Some of them be getting some busted white dudes too. I've seen this recently. You know, at my job with these black women, they be, you know, some of the ones that, you know, look like that FBA ain't, you know, really want, and they end up getting. With,
They be paying too. I see that too. They be paying.
Well, no, actually, this one in particular I'm talking about, they was both well off. They was both well to do, but they just wasn't. Either one of them, you know, they wasn't really, you know, hitting. But Yeah, and I seen another one earlier. Sometimes
Oh, you said the hurt black women going to going white.
Some of them are, yeah.
Like dog face,
I've seen
possibly bear built.
those are your words, but sure.
Okay.
But I've seen that recently, two different examples, so, and I was like, huh, that goes against what I've heard.
I've
Yeah,
seen
you
that
know,
a
I mean,
lot
I
too,
think that
John.
like the non-desirables end up having on any other sides end up going the other way. You know what I mean? To the other side.
Non-desirables. That's a good way to frame it.
We call them up muggles.
But yeah, I guess I'll go. I would agree with G. I mean, at least as far as they may be just the loudest. That is also possible, but they're definitely very fucking loud as it relates to black men making that decision to date outside of race. I mean, I think that like we're probably held accountable more. We're probably held more accountable than any other people's period as black men. So like anytime we do something that's like not a part of the script, you know what I mean? It's just crazy. We definitely get ran down on harder than anybody else about the decisions that we make that aren't like, you know what I mean? Let's say the by the book or on, you know what I mean? Whatever we do, we kind of we get ostracized about making or having a difference in opinion or like, you know what I mean? Especially like the whole interracial relations. We just are held to a different standard than everybody else and are expected to conduct ourselves as such.
I'd like to add something as somebody who's dabbled, you know, on the other side.
When you say dabbled on the other side, what do you mean by that?
You know what he mean.
Yeah, it's just a little
Trey,
dab
tell him,
ranch.
say it loud, Jen.
Just a little dab of ranch. That's all it was. But like,
dab of ranch.
just a
Dab
little
of ranch.
But like as somebody, it kind of. I'm pretty transparent sometimes. Well, not all the time, but with this one, I kind of was about it. But I've gotten a little bit of pushback from black women, but it's not like because I was just saying it's no double standard. But I've gotten a little pushback personally. But when I break it down, it's more of a I don't want to say jealousy type, but it's not like
that's what it is.
It's coming from more of a place of hurt, you know, almost where they be like, damn, they don't want to, you know, it's not a bad thing that they mad that we going to be with black women. Like I think it's kind of like with anything, somebody would have an issue with it, but I don't feel like they're like ostracized for it. Or I've never felt like, you know, black women, I ain't still have my place in the community because of it. But yeah, I hear the jokes. Yeah, I get the jokes all the time. Some of them be funny too, but I ain't never felt out of place because of it. And maybe it's because, you know, I wouldn't double down over there. I just got in and out.
Well, we talking about the double standard. Have you made jokes about black women being with white men? Is that even a thing? Do you think?
Especially letting them know, not talking about through the homies.
Well, yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, I don't think like a black woman's gonna get that as much, you know.
But I'm gonna be honest though, I don't think if I just look at, obviously it's anecdotal, but if I just think about my black male homies and the number of them who have dabbled in the ranch dressing versus my black female homies who have dabbled in the ranch dressing, it is not even a close comparison. It's definitely way more brothers.
But I would also bet that you're going to have a much larger,
that's where I was
portion of your friend will be male versus the female. So
say it again, real.
No, I would say that I would assume that like you would have many more male friends than you would female friends. So
that's not true though. Actually, that's not true.
Especially that would be honest with you about what they do, because a lot of women they're not going to tell their body count.
But I think you're talking about body counts too. But like,
I'm saying as far as
I imagine you're talking about like presenting, like we're talking about at least at the baseline of dating. I imagine, right?
Yeah, like just people that I know that I've come with. Like, if I just think about all of the black women that I've seen that I've known over the years versus the homies that I've known over the years, I just know I have seen way more black homies than black sisters that's in the intermingling. Now, could some be doing shit in the dark? Yeah, sure, that's possible. But
And you probably got
but
more male
the
fans,
but the
too.
But you can only
majority,
talk about what you see. Yeah.
yeah, the majority of but like I said, the discrepancy from what I see on the male side versus the female side, like even if a few of the ladies wasn't truthful, it still wouldn't bridge the gap. Like it's definitely way like it. I almost feel like I'm in the minority in my friend circle because I didn't fuck a white chick. Like it's like all of the homies have busted down something in the snow. Like all of them. Like it's got to be at least 7 out of 10. I got it's like 7 to 8 out of 10. They didn't bust something down. I don't think it's that many black chicks.
Yeah, I was gonna say I couldn't make too many jokes about it just because I don't see it like that. So it's not something that's that prevalent for me when I just walk around.
That double, triple down on it though.
You said some what?
Some dudes that like double and triple down on the snowboard.
On what?
On snowboard.
No, I'm talking about black women dating white men. Like I don't see it a lot.
Bro, when you say dating, you gotta understand, bro. They be like doing shit. They be doing this on the low, bro. They don't want us to see because I know that they know
like you're
that
telling us to. But I can't comment on something that I don't know has happened or I just literally didn't see. So then it's nothing for me to specifically talk about. But
none of the white
what I can only speak about what I see and what stats say. What I see typically matches up with what the stats say, and I just don't see a lot of black women dating white men. I don't see them outside with them inside like in spaces at all like that. It's not that big of a thing. As in comparison, I'll see more often. And again, like I don't see a bunch of niggas with just white women. But if we're talking comparatively, I'll see more black men out with white women than I would see a white man with the black woman.
But I think you understand, like the white dudes that I'm talking about that have been with black women, like physically been with them, they don't date black women either. If you get what I'm saying.
Right. All I'm saying, like I can't comment or argue.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't comment or argue to the point that
on for one night.
I can't comment or argue to a point that I can't see and that there's no data that like proves it. Like even a dating website data doesn't it goes against what you're saying. So like I can't. But from what I do see, I just don't see anything. I just don't see it. It's not enough for me to make a joke in comparison. Like we see the Travis Hunter, it's an easy joke.
But she got a black mom though, right? I feel what you're saying. She was raised by a black woman, and like that.
I think optically, when you see that, most people, and I think she identifies as a Latina, but I think most people look at her as an other, and not as a black woman. And like
definitely
the whole Travis
FBA.
Hunter thing. You said what?
It's definitely wasn't FBA.
The mom, I don't know the mom's lineage.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, like, this gets into dangerous territory. My thing is, I'm not advocating. I want to see black people together. My main thing is, like, if we're going to talk about the causes for this issue, like, honestly, and I think if the trend, if you can verify that my computer crashed before I sent that stat where it said it's 79% now. If it was 84% in 2021 and 79 now, and it was 87 and 91,
we'll have to see that
in the 80s.
I don't know if I believe that.
But if it
because it's saying like
if that is
black
accurate,
women went down 8% also inside that stat.
Yeah. Because I think
well, if it's a real stat, I have no choice. That's why I say just send it to me, and I can kind of build a frame of reference around it.
I think other demographics of men will kind of bottle it up and then it kind of explode, and like they'll deal with a gynocracy type situation. And I think a lot of that's attracted to a lot of our lovely sisters. But that only lasts for so long, and then you see him doing the thing where unaliving the whole family type situation. There's shawty come up missing or whatever happens like that, where you don't really see too many brothers doing that type of situation. That's kind of off on the tangent type deal. But my main thing is like these issues that we're talking about. If they're causing less people to be together, I don't think that we can just say that these issues don't exist. And Otherwise, we're going to be in a bad situation if our ultimate goal is
Cut the boy
to
off
have more people together.
midstream.
So what? I'm scared to type this in because my computer going to crash.
Oh,
this must
yeah.
be a sister working at. Must be a sister
I don't know
working
who's
the
saying
StreamYard.
that. But so I guess let me
It's
kind of
definitely
hit y'all with a
Dynacrat
couple.
running the StreamYard right now.
let me hit y'all with a couple quick hitters.
This is a link in the chat though.
So is interracial dating? This is a Umar talking point. Is there a way of looking at interracial dating, especially what we see with like the sports and entertainment fields, XYZ, as economic colonization of the black man?
Economic colonization. Nah, I mean, I wouldn't call it that because colonization is something that's forced on people. Like you're not a willing participant in colonization. If these black men are choosing them white women and asking them to marry them, I wouldn't call it colonization. It's something they're opting into. I'm not saying it's,
what word would you use if you wouldn't use colonization? Would you use like exploitation? Then you could choose and be exploited.
I mean, can you? If you, I mean, I guess you can.
For sure. Yeah.
Like if you ask, yeah. I mean, maybe exploitation is a little bit. If there's like, yeah, I call it more exploitation. Yeah, I can't say the word right now. Yeah.
Gotcha. And I imagine he probably is using it in the sense of like they're just rounding up the resources and keeping as much of the resources to bring back to what do y'all call Brad's dad? What do y'all call his dad?
I don't think these white women.
What's Brad's granddad name? Y'all ain't got a nickname for him?
Jethro.
All right. So yeah. So like for her to bring it back to Jethro.
But see, I don't think they operating like that. Like I think it's just more of a personal greed thing. I don't think they taking the money back to a lot of these dads. They don't need the money. They ain't like.
Right. But
it ain't like they coming from families where like.
Right, but if it's staying. In what you're saying, though, it still stays on that side of like the aisle. Like if they're taking the money from the black community and with their personal greed, they're bringing it back over to the white side.
Yeah, but if they're having kids with these people, they're also like contributing to the black culture. Also, they're also like it's like a tit for tat. It's like if you get a black kid out of it, I mean, you kind of, especially if like you're raising a black kid. I mean, I'm not saying it's the best thing, but I mean, it's almost a balance out. If like these white women are birthing black kids.
Okay. Rail, is it economic colonization?
I think that like to like put the to like blame them kind of like I kind of go with what Johnny says. Like to blame them is kind of like where I would draw the line because, like you say, like these dudes are literally. I think it says more about the men than it does the women, because these men are literally choosing. You know what I mean? These women, for whatever reason. I mean, I don't know exactly why they tend to lean that way, but yeah, I wouldn't really blame them. It's pretty much just the guys themselves and whatever their preference is. It seems like I don't know.
G, talk to me. Is it economic colonization?
Yeah, I agree with what Rel and Johnny said in terms of it's really the dude's fault for picking these folks, but at the end of the day, it is colonization in the fact that you're taking resources from one place and bringing it back to your own, right? Like if at the end of the day you get with this chick, 1 out of 2 don't stay together. So we're just looking at the math on how this works generally when it comes to marriage. So inevitably, at least half of these situations end up Splitsville. And that typically means a huge chunk of your resources just left you and then went to them. And they will then benefit from your from the fruits of your labor. So,
but how about what about if a kid is brought into that, and then now that woman got to raise that black baby?
Yeah, like I would say the thing about that is like, I'm not a big fan of like, I just think in general, the way that child support is set up is like beyond race, it's like from a man perspective, they gon' like it's beyond ridiculous. And so even if she has the child, they gonna make him give her way more than what's necessary than what it takes for the child. Like, it ain't gonna be just about the child. You know what I'm saying? She's still gonna be pulling his resources, putting it in her pocket.
But that child still gonna have that resource to lean on, though. Like,
What you mean?
Like that white family. Like, if you're a black kid,
and you assume that, but that's not always the case too, right? Like that kid could be the eyeball on the white side.
Abandoning them babies.
Could be scrutinized over there on the white side, but even
we
still,
talk about money and resources. Like you're the kin, you're the next of kin that's like in line to collect all those resources. Also, like say the granddad died, the mom died, that baby is usually in line.
See, that's what I'm saying. You're saying usually, but what?
Well, typically, that's how wills like in families work. They pass the generation to generation.
Yeah, well, nobody had the same energy for the Obama's daughters and everybody that Don P's put in the chat with his Tatiana Ali, the Jacksons, Tina Turner, even forgot some other famous black. The Serena Williams, all that. Eve. I mean, it seems like we have a hyper focus on what black men from the black women, but black men we also focus on the black men, but nobody's cares about what black women do with that same legacy and that same wealth. Even
Serena. Like people don't rock with Serena no more like that.
Yeah, but I also think that economic colonization wouldn't really apply inside most of the ones that you said. Like Eve married like a rich
billionaire,
like a billionaire.
Billionaire.
Still money that's
I think that Serena Williams' husband has more money than her too. If I'm not mistaken.
I think I think she has 250 times less money than he does. Yeah, he's rich, but she's 250 times richer.
She's
so it's a come up for him. Her man, she's 250. Like I think she's got hundreds of millions, and he's got like tens of millions. You're saying, well, they're both rich. Serena Williams and the guy who sold, was it like Reddit or some site like that? Like she's got money, but nowhere near as much money as Serena Williams.
Okay. Again, like I guess I was trying to understand you wrapping that back into. Are you saying that they're getting economically colonized as well? Is that what you're saying?
My point is you talking about athletes and everything. Like, I guess to answer your question, it was an economic colonization. I don't really know.
All right. So he's 150 million. That's what his network is. Let me look at Serena.
I guarantee you, Serena ain't got 250 times more than that nigga.
She doubled him. She doubled him.
I can believe she doubled him, but.
But it's not 100 and
250
times what she said.
I don't believe his net worth is what it's saying on my right there.
If you sold Reddit, you doing all right. I'll just put it like that.
Oh, doing all right. I didn't say he was broke. I'm just saying compared to her, it's not like just because she got a lot of money.
Nonetheless, like I don't know if that would be like classified as like economic.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be honest. If
whatchamacallit,
if one person is at 150 and the other person is at 300, you in the same realm when you start talking about like billionaires and shit. If one nigga got 150 and another nigga got 300, you not really, the 300 person can't really flex like that on the 150. It's not like you're living a lifestyle at 300 million you can't afford at 150. Whereas like with Eve, I believe homeboy is like billions up.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that's what it's like. She, that's the reverse of how the athletes do. You feel me?
And I guess just to try and finish off a couple more quick hitters.
He said 10 million. He says net worth is 10 million. But anyway,
I'll
that's what I was going off of when I said
I'll look it up in a second. But gotcha. So maybe his net worth is 10 million. We'll do more research. I've seen one say 150. You said 10 million. But I guess moving on in the conversation, would you say that a lot of people that date interracially look at it as a status symbol?
No.
So again, you see a lot of like if we just go across the aisle and you see Black Republican, he probably got a white wife, right? You see it also again when you get into the athletes XYZ. We just spoke about Eve marrying up. A lot of time, like a lot of these black women, when they're getting with quote unquote a Brad, they're attempting to marry up. Generally speaking, would you say that a lot of people look at the choice of interracially dating as a status symbol increase?
I don't think black women typically marry up. Because you gave the example of Eve. That was the only example, right?
All right, let's not. I would love not even to like go into the examples and just talk about the concept. Yeah.
Oh, the answer, I don't think it's a status symbol when black men do it. Because I think that it's just an escape for the gynocracy. And if we want to look at this as a status symbol, I think that's a lazy excuse that's not going to get us to the root of the issue. And the issue is going to continue if we just want to say, oh, you're just doing that because you want a status symbol. And they're like, nah, we don't like the gynocracy. You're like, nah, you just know gynocracy. You just want a status symbol because you just like white women. They're going to be, okay, I'm out. And that's going to be it.
Okay. G, talk to us.
I don't know if I would go as far as say a status symbol, but like, you know, I do think amongst yeah, I do think there is like there's a percentage of guys who look at interracial dating as like a conquest, like I'm trying to make sure I knock down at least a couple white girls, like before it's all said and done. Like it's like part of their,
but not even specifically like if you pop, as much as like if you actually was to get in a relationship, marry, typically like the black guy that's marrying the white woman.
Yeah, I don't think if it goes that far, then I don't think it's like what would we say, like a status symbol or something like that. Like, nah. If it goes that far, I think, you know, it's something deeper there. But if it's just like you casually just trying to knock them off, I do think then that becomes more of like you're probably participating in this for like the sport.
Mm-hmm. Real, talk to us.
Yeah, I'd say I don't think it's a status symbol either. I think that like a lot of people, it depends on like what you're like where you are socioeconomically, geographically. Like you're gonna be attracted to more like the people around you, and so I think that it's more like with me, like I say, bro, it's tough enough to try to find anybody to fuck with. And as you start to add these, you know what I mean, these extra constraints and check boxes, it's just gonna get harder and harder. I think that people, like I say, they are around a certain type of people due to their environment, and you end up, you know, when falling in love with, or you know what I mean, in a hard like with that individual. I don't think it's like most often. I don't believe it's status symbol based.
Okay, Johnny, talk to me.
Oh, and repeat the question one more time.
Yeah, I guess like simply put, do some people look at dating interracially as like an increase in status?
I mean, I guess some people do. If you ask it like in that form, I think it depends. Like, I mean, it depends on like the person you're marrying. I think that goes for anybody. I mean, I think there's certain, you know, like white women like Kardashians. That's why Kanye married Kardashian. That was a status symbol. It wasn't like, I mean, he might have really loved her and stuff. But I mean, I think that's one where it was. I mean, I think there's certain aspects where, I mean, depending on who it is, it could be a status symbol. But I don't think just because they're white, it makes it a status symbol.
I just always think it's like interesting when you see the conservative black always attached with the white woman. I couldn't think of any other way outside of looking at that as like there has to be some attachment to increase in status in their mind if it's such.
Or I mean, no.
Or do you think that's gynocracy based?
No. Actually, no.
I don't think that they like.
What about a liberal black woman with a white man? What about a liberal black woman with a white man? Is that
could it be self-hate?
It could. This would lead to the next one. But yeah. I guess like you. A lot of times it seems like instead of answering a question directly, you will just give like an opposing thing another opposing example, instead of actually just answering a question maybe that you might not want to answer. Like it's okay to answer that question.
Already answered the question though.
Right, but so your rebuttal to me asking was just saying, well, what about liberal black women dating white men? That has nothing to do with the actual question that was being asked. Like it derails if we're like going somewhere. I
already answered it though. I said no, it's not a status symbol when men do it.
I guess like a better comparison, I think that when the conservative black women do the exact same thing, yes, it could be. And I'm not saying that it is. I just think that it's interesting when you look at a lot of the black men that we tend to not like and their partner choices. It'd be interesting sometimes. But nonetheless, I think that that kind of runs itself into another off my Dr. Umar list. Where is it at? Nonetheless, is there's some version of unconscious self-hate that comes with people that that date interracially, especially consistently.
I think the consistent part matters. Like I think a one-off, it's hard to put somebody in a box just because of one-time thing, or just because you might dibble or dabble with Hispanics, black, Asian. Like if you go all the way on the way, I don't think it's necessarily a thing. But if you have like, I got to get this because a lot of times black dudes, I imagine they get with white women because it's, I wasn't supposed to have this, or I don't deserve this. So now I'm getting it to prove my worth. That's the self-hating part. Like if you're getting with that woman because they told you couldn't get with that kind of lady back in the day, or that makes you feel like you have a little more, belonging in it. That part is the self-hate. So like you say, the consistency, if that's all you mess with, like you say, if that's all you mess with, and like I said, a lot of times it's the way you speak about black women. If you just got a disdain for black women and all you mess with is that, it's hard to look at it as like anything else. But as a dabbler, I don't want to get misconstrued into self-hate just because of the one or two off time some straight.
So what you're saying is if it's consistently, probably if you just dibble dabble, it's not an indictment.
Just like to have a good time.
Okay. Anybody else?
No, I think I agree with that. Like it really the ones with the self-hate is the ones who are like, I only date X.
Yeah, that's
like,
only.
Like when people be like, I'm out here looking for X, that's where it's kind of like you get in the side eye, like, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you it's like if you have your preference, if you say, yeah, my preference is white women, you know what I mean? Then I think that's gonna be that's like to co-sign what Johnny and both Johnny and G are saying. If you're gonna say like as a black man for your preference to be white women, I think that does say you might have some self-hate in there somewhere. Like you say, but if you're a person that you date white women, Asian, whatever, you know what I mean, then it's probably you just want to fuck with somebody that fuck with you. You know what I mean? So, but if I definitely say if you have that as your preference is a race other than your own, then I believe that's probably has something to do with the way you feel about your people.
Yeah, I agree with all that too. If you seek out a person just because of their race or just because of the color of their skin, it has nothing to do with behavior, or like a lot of times it seems like the black men that I know, these white women like kind of compete for them. So if a person competes and they outcompete the other women around them and you roll with that, I don't think that could be.
Hey Trey, what does that look like? What does that look like to see them competing or women competing for you? What does that look like?
Not giving them any stuff, going out of their way on some like some sweets, doing some like sweetness stuff, or driving them around. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to
driving them around,
like letting them be Jody.
Crazy.
He said some sweetness stuff. I like this.
Stole my car.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, if she wanna like if they trying to go somewhere and she like she trying to drive the homie type stuff and it's that type of situation, or I don't know. It's just like, I mean, I think that's one of those things that is you know it when you see it type situations. Like you can tell when a person's being hard to get versus when a person is being
Easy to get.
extremely receptive. And I think they get mad at the other girls and they try to be more receptive than the other girl versus seeing another girl being receptive, and they just walk away because they want somebody who they can just that's gonna kiss their butt. I don't think a lot of these other people are used to. I think we do a lot of butt kissing in our community. Like all our R&B music is about, oh, I'm in the rain, I'm singing, I will love you so much, I love you.
Bro, tell them you want that music back, bro. Bro, want that to come back.
I want it back too, but I want this. This is the thing about loving us back, bro. Because it seemed like we'll hear a shot a man down, and
I'm never singing in the rain.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was at this karaoke joint, and this sister came up and she sang "Call Tyrone," then she sang "Shot a Man Down," and then she sang that song by SZA. It's like, damn, like
yeah, no, I feel you though. Like Mary J. Blige catalog pisses me off, but it was a beautiful thing to hear Coco Jones at ICU. Like that made my playlist. Like I love to hear a black woman singing about loving a black, you know what I mean, or loving a man, and like that, like today's time, you don't really, you know what I mean, it's been a minute. You really don't get to hear that side of things too often. And I also think like the R&B with men, like I mean, niggas, it's a little bit different now because it's a lot of whole culture and for men and women and you know what I mean. But like, yeah, I fuck with the older R&B music than this new shit.
I mean, brothers still do that. Like Brent Fayez, he still talks about that, and so does what's up? Somebody John put me on. Ty Dolla Sign got some songs. They do a lot of
Lucky
songs
Day.
That like, you know what I'm saying? And John Legend's another example of he always sings about love. You know, we still got brothers. I think they've been relative. There's a balance with from the brothers, but I don't really hear too many women that are just like genuinely happy singing songs like "Cater to You," which is sort of an anomaly.
Cater to You is a great song.
Yeah, man.
Fucking great song.
All right, fellas. We've actually ran over time on the show, but nonetheless, this has been a fun one. The guys that know the chat's in the links in the chat. But nonetheless, we ain't gonna actually get to a call in this evening just because we done ran a little less. Unless fellas, y'all want to grab one call in, or is it time to hit that button?
I did want to hear the chat, man. They had a lot to say.
Yeah, we can get one there.
All right, I'm gonna pull up one. One of our guys is in the back, in which again one of the favorites. Our guy Don P. Talk to him. Damn, you giving him that kind of welcome? Damn,
I didn't know who it was.
Come on, bro. Hey, go Don P. Talk to us, brother. Give you about like a good 2 minutes or so.
What's good to the panel?
What's good? What's good?
What up?
Yeah, man. I mean, I like the discussion. The discussion was it was fair balance. I had to pull up some women out the chat because it seems like most of the panel swore up and down like y'all don't really see too many women, dating white dudes like that. So I had to, refresh their memories with a bunch of celebrity women. I think the difference between celebrity dudes dating the white chicks and celebrity, black women dating the white dudes is the dudes don't really cheer that on. Like, oh, yo, he's dating a white chick. Like, that's dope or anything like that. It's like, all right, whatever. He's dating a white chick, whatever. But on the flip side, like the example I gave with the Meghan Markle and Olivia Pope situation, like that was a thing. You actually have, and all of us, Olivia Pope, like that was.
Oh,
yeah, Scandal.
She does in real life too, though. By the way,
yeah, it's a team.
No, she's married to the former cornerback.
But see,
she's married to Nnamdi Asomugha. That's her husband, Kerry Washington's husband.
See, I didn't know. I didn't know she was dating a white dude in real life. But like my point with her was a lot of chicks. Okay. Well, I didn't know what I didn't know what her personal life was. I just knew that at the time, we old enough to remember at that time, a lot of black women was cheering that on because of what the president represented in that show, and it was real cringy. So yeah, that's why I put that on. But another thing I want to say is, as far as dating outside of your race, like is that off code or anything like that? I disagree with G. I don't think that's off code. However, I do feel as though that if you do it, like you will be clown. That's just in our culture. You're gonna be clown. Like it is what it is. You're gonna be clown. If you speaking pro black, like you're not gonna be taken serious. But you just say that it's off code. I don't think it's off code at all. Now it will be
So
off
why
code.
wouldn't you be taken serious if you're pro black and it's not off code?
But it's not off code.
Because it seems like you get clowned because it's
from
off
the
code.
way from the way I see it is being off code is doing something that hurts the collective, right? You dating outside of your race,
Wouldn't
I
that be
personally
diluting the
believe
lineage?
this.
That
I
would hurt
won't.
the
Yeah,
collective.
it would be done. It would be. It does. I mean, if you put it that way, I guess you can say that. But my thing is, my
That'll be
thing
off
is,
code
as far
then.
as that conversation goes, it's. You said what?
But if it hurts the lineage,
You said it would be off code.
like if it hurts the lineage, why? Like
I mean,
how does it not be off code if it's not
it
good for the
like
lineage?
I because all right. So here's the thing. I'm gonna use Trey as an example, and we kind of talked about this. Like Trey, his perspective as far as like what his dating preferences is different from how I see like a lot of how the Passport brothers explain like their gripes with women in general, or specifically black women. Trey has a dating preference to where his standards is so high that odds of him actually meeting a black woman that meets those standards is slim to none. And even if he does, he will have to compete with other brothers or anybody else outside of that race to even get that type of woman. So what are the odds of Trey actually in with the black woman that meets his standards?
I think they're very good. I think there's
Do you
gonna
see?
be like I mean,
Mm,
there's
I
a
don't know.
there's,
He in Charlotte.
No,
He
I
got to
mean
compete with Trey Man.
there's not a lot of high value
no,
women.
no,
So
like without him having to compete though.
I mean that's part of it though. I mean
You see
everybody
what I
has to
mean?
compete. So like any woman, like if
Um,
if it's a bad white woman,
Not
you're gonna have to compete too with Brad and
Yeah.
them. So like either
no,
way it goes.
but that's just the thing. The average black, the average brother. We don't. Our standards is not to what Trey standards is.
Right. Oh,
We're
and
not
outside of
talking
trade,
about.
'cause, like I don't even talk about like this is bigger than like trade because like yeah, like I said, I agree.
No,
His view of it is different, but outside of like reparations and like if you think that's a real thing and it's gonna be based on lineage and not race, I can
mhm.
see if you said it was just gonna be based on race or you didn't think it was a realistic thing. But if you think that's something that could possibly happen for like say our next generation, like or maybe two
Right.
generations, how does that like then affect the lineage? Is like there a point where like you get below a certain threshold and then you're no longer qualify or like if you're gonna base it on lineage, you have to like hold the lineage to a certain like esteem and prestige it a little bit because that's gonna be the
I,
thing that gets us the reparations.
I can't argue. I can't argue with that. I mean, you have a valid point with that. You know what I mean? You do. I guess my thing is I can't really police anybody's meat and who they choose to stay with. Um,
It's cool. You can
However,
do it,
my
but
thing
if
is
it's
as
either
long
on
as you're
code or
not
off code, it gotta be
no,
off code.
but as long as you're not waking up, like if you laying with a white chick and then you wake up the next day talking about some all lives matter, then at that point I feel like you finna go from the road to where you doing a whole bunch of off code ish after that because of who you laying up with.
But
You know what I mean? So
procreating with them wouldn't be off code. And
I
I'm
mean,
not against it
pro-
either, but I'm just
procreating with them is something that I personally disagree with. Yes, I personally disagree with that. Um, uh,
because you got your
and
code,
and I
bro.
guess if if y'all using my definition, yes, that I guess that would be considered off code if you diluting a race. That does, I would concede to that. So yeah, I guess you guys have a point to that. But again, what Trey is speaking to as far as like the gynocracy that's happening within our community, that's a real thing. And since it's not being addressed properly from a lot of brothers, like it's becoming worse and worse. Like, what do you do at that point?
That's the question.
What do you do?
Gotcha. All right, so we're gonna try and pull up one more before we get out of here. Another favorite to the show,
Okay.
Kofi.
Yeah, what's up? What's up? Good
going on?
conversation. I enjoy the conversation. The problem I'm seeing here is this dynamic that is me versus a woman, and how much control I can have over this woman, or how submissive this woman could be, when that's not what a relationship supposed to be. As far as like, well, she thinks she's better than me, then I gotta prove that I'm better than her. Like the clip that you guys played, to me, that was like wild. You know what I'm saying? The woman saying, "Oh, women or black women are running circles around black men because they're making all this money financially." Da, da, da. It's like, why is this a competition? Like, if you're looking for a partner, why, if you're good at one thing with your partner, why would you want to rub that in your partner's face, or your potential partner's face, and then they're supposed to feel good? You know what I'm saying? It just, the conversation is a good conversation, but to me, that's the problem. The conversation and how we're having it, where you're supposed to have two people coming together, find common ground, right? We're already black, so that already should be like, okay, we can get along when it comes to that, especially in this country, in this world, how things are. We should build upon that instead of fighting each other, and that's what I'm seeing. As far as the, yeah, go ahead.
I would say, how do you? So if you say that you see this as competition that shouldn't be there, but you see that we saw plenty of clips where this sentiment was echoed to where it's not like a one-off thing, then what do we do to combat it? Because if they don't really feel like they have to listen to us because we're their competition.
I don't like doing generalizations, and I don't think anybody here, including me and myself, did like a census of how many black women really actually feel like that. I think the most obnoxious group is usually the loudest people, and we need to judge. I mean, women. If you guys are in the dating scene, judge women basically on a courting, how they are and how they act, and don't have preconceived notions that, yeah, okay, she's gonna want to ruin me, or have all this masculine energy, and I'm gonna have to always follow her lead. I think that's the mistake that we have. That's how I see it. Because I don't see I'm in a competition for a woman. If I'm with another woman, I'm in competition for her love and affection. I'm not really in a competition for anything else. You know what I'm saying? That's how I see it. So if she's like, "Hey, babe, I got a PhD." All right, sweetheart, that's good for you. I'm not in a competition with you. I'm secure in my own. I got my own. I came in this relationship having my own, dependent on myself. And if it don't work, guess what? I'm still dependent on myself. So that's pretty much how I see it.
Got it.
I got you.
Trey, we got one more in the back.
Got you.
This is new. You've been getting some agreements in the chat from this guy. Felipe, maybe. Correct me if I'm incorrect. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes. After this, we gotta kind of wrap it up. But Felipe, welcome to the show.
Was good.
You got muted, my boy.
Yeah, you muted right now. I think this might be Felipe's first time using StreamYard. I'm gonna unmute you, and we'll see if that helps. Nah, you chose to mute yourself. Felipe, I'm gonna kind of talk until you come on. If you don't come on, we're gonna kind of wrap the show. But yeah, nonetheless, I think this has been a fairly interesting conversation. Trey, my bad.
I'm sorry. Did you call me up?
Yeah, I did. Here you go. Appreciate it.
I'm sorry. I had to step away for a second.
Gotcha.
Hey guys,
how are you doing? You got a good 2 to 3 minute runway. What's going on?
He's
not
cool
much, man.
He's a cool brother. I know him from another channel. He's a cool brother.
Oh, hey, what's up, brother? So, I just wanted to drop a few things. I put it in the chat, but I think the biggest thing, at least with the athletes and the high earning men, is that different cultures are not prepared to deal with some of those men. And what I mean by that is this. If you are a man that's earning $300,000 a year, over $250,000 a year, that man has a lot of options in terms of women. And when a man is in that situation, very often, even if he's married, he probably is interacting with other women. And different cultures react differently to that situation. And so what the issue then becomes is, are the various cultures responding to that situation the same? And my argument in the chat was no, they don't. They don't respond the same. And so in various businesses, they encourage one group of women over another because culturally they're not going to respond the same to this, to the same situation of this man earns a lot of money. Does that make any sense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Very diplomatic way of putting it.
That's a good point.
So I said in the chat to Trey, he responded to me. There have been, and you can look on TikTok and Instagram, people who work for the various sports agents, and they talk about how they put together packages for these players, meaning that, that they match them with brands and they match them with companies to pitch the soap and various stuff, right? And in those interviews, the marketing companies have said outright, sometimes it's in the NFL or NBA contract that they're encouraging them to have a certain type of partner. And sometimes they are having people that work with the agent scrub the girlfriend's Instagram and social media pages so that that player is more marketable. And if they get a whiff that, hey, this girl really isn't a fit for what we're trying to do to make money with that player, they will encourage another woman.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times those women that they're encouraging are not Black.
Right.
And a lot of times the women that their pages that they're scrubbing are Black. They may, and you look for it. I've seen several of these, and they talk about what are the issues. The issues are the clothing they have on their Instagram page. Are they in bikinis a lot? Now, if it's a Mzungu woman, they don't seem to have a problem with it. But if it's a Black or Latina woman, well, maybe it's a little too sexy for our league. These are the issues. It's an ugly business, but these guys are brands. They're not just people. And so I just wanted to throw that to the panel. I'll let you guys respond. I know I put a lot out there.
That was dope.
Yeah, no, I think
I don't
that,
got much of a response.
I think that's an unfortunate truth to what you're saying. You see it often with like high profile kids sports. Like I can only speak to like basketball because that's a little bit more of what I'm around. But yeah, you can see incentivizations of different parts, like whether it's leaving very specific types of girls or getting a more clean cut girl, in which, as you said, that can end up looking more white, especially. And again, this goes into like I'm not necessarily pro, or I'm not big on like the NIL, especially how it's set right now. Especially when you start introducing agents and things like that, and marketing firms. Like kids are signing to agents and marketing firms in high school, in which there's a lot more that comes into that, especially once they're really trying to get these kids, like you said, brand deals. And yeah, so like I don't agree. I just think that that's an unfortunate byproduct that does, even so, push quote unquote this this interracial dating divide that I guess we've been speaking about.
So how do we combat that? Is really the question.
Well, that right there, like that comes from like power in ownership, and yeah, like because he's talking about downward pressure from up top to change even who you're dating with, or you can't get you just won't be able to capitalize as good as a brand. So like that person's coming from the top. That like we would have to be at the top to make that. So that's more of an economic issue, ownership issue.
Let's just pick somebody that we know or a situation we know to make it very clear. In the NFL, you've got the face of the league, which is Mahomes in Kansas City, right? Now, he's biracial. His dad was a pro baseball player. His wife is white. Lamar Jackson arguably has been an MVP type player for the last 2, if not 3 seasons. He just now is getting very, sparse ads. What is the difference? The difference
Super Bowls.
Well, Super Bowls, but then
but Lamar Jackson,
if Lamar Jackson had the same amount of Super Bowls, he'd be out of here. I think the NFL would have him out of here.
Mahomes, he's way more marketable. Just in Lamar, he gonna have the scruff. He gonna have he either gonna have the fro really being
Florida
fro,
boy,
or he gonna have them old Meek Mill braids in. Like he'll let him rock. Like he'll get them braids game 2, and he ain't changing it up to like game 8. In which Mahomes, from his voice, and he already has that country drawl. Again, he's really fair skinned.
I think the education level too. You can tell
USA football country America more marketable. Middle America, there we go.
I don't disagree, but in the NFL, it's about Super Bowls. Like that's when you get marketed by the machine. In my opinion, if you don't win, you don't get. Like Cam Newton, if he actually would have won that Super Bowl, completely different story versus how they talk about a former MVP. Like he's still Superman.
But I guess it's tough because we don't really have a case study to show that, though, right?
But okay, so you asked what's the difference between Lamar Jackson and Pat Mahomes? It's 3 Super Bowls.
What about Josh Allen?
Go ahead.
Josh Allen's very marketable because of his production, and he doesn't have any Super Bowls.
You think he gets more press than they're trying to lift Allen over Lamar, but
Allen's been on all the video games. He's gotten chunky soup, all of that stuff, and he hasn't. Has he won a playoff game?
Yeah, he's won some playoff games, but
he just ain't beat Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
well, ain't nobody.
Okay. I don't think Josh Allen is getting more opportunities than Lamar Jackson. I don't know if I would agree.
I don't think it's performance. I think it's an image and a brand. And as Vera was saying, that Lamar Jackson, despite his tremendous talent and ability, not as marketable, just as a person, which is unfortunate.
All right, fellas. Again, this has been a great conversation. We've obviously went overboard a little bit today. But happy New Year to the guys. Appreciate first time pull up, Felipe, Kofi, another regular, Don P, regular, FBA Trey, aka David Walker himself, G from the G-ish podcast, Old Head Rail, Johnny Q from the To Be Fair show. It's been a great conversation. Make sure y'all pull up on us again next week, 9:30 on Wednesday. I know with us, we record again, or not record, we'll be live 4:30 on the To Be Fair show. G, when's your next episode dropping?
Sometime in the new year. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Real Saturday.
Oh yeah, real. Y'all.
Oh yeah, we definitely gonna be locked in. We definitely gonna be locked in. I'm old head real. I'll be there with my pops, old head senior, talking about the generational divide. And we're gonna get on some FBA Jones soon because he ain't hip to it. So I'm gonna get some help from. I'll be reaching out some of the brothers to help me, or pretty much to hip us both very soon.
Got it. All right. And with that said, we out. Peace.